Welcome back to Movie Dumpster, Season 8, Episode 12. Today we're talking about Necronomicon, Book of the Dead, from 1993, directed by Christophe Gans, Shusuke Kaneko, and Brian Yuzna. And we're going to talk about why you shouldn't miss this forgotten 90s H.P. Lovecraft anthology. I'm Joe Lascola.
And I'm Sean O'Rourke.
Welcome to the dumpster. Here it is, Sean. We're going to open up this Necronomicon book today. Yeah, this is our second episode for our Summer of Lovecraft month, and I'm really excited to talk about this one.
Yeah, this is another one. Just I already said in this last episode and other Lovecraft-related episodes we've done. Not the expert here, Joe.
Yep.
Just to repeat that joke again. Also not the expert, but way more knowledgeable than
But I do love this stuff. Yeah.
But kind of funny that I didn't catch this one till now while we're doing this episode, because I love anthologies. We both love anthologies. We've talked about that before also. I had no fucking clue it was an anthology going in, so... Catch me very colorly surprised, I guess. Oh, I fucked that saying up, but I was surprised, I guess.
Color you surprised?
There you go.
There you go. Color out of space you surprised. Yeah.
We didn't get that on
There
this
you go.
one, but
No.
yeah, it fits the theme. And yeah, we get 3 stories plus that wrap around your classic anthology. I was very excited once I realized that that was the direction we were moving in. And with a name like Necronomicon, I guess I should have known better. There's different stories, which we're going to talk about, that involve the Necronomicon. So it was a, I guess, without just tipping my hand and instantly a pleasant surprise.
But before we open the Forbidden Book of the Dead, if you want some more Movie Dumpster content, you can head over to patreon.com/Movie Dumpster. You can get an ad-free audio version of the show for only $2 a month, and you can get some other great stuff at the $5 and $10 tiers. We also have a YouTube membership, which is kind of like Patreon Lite. You don't get any of the physical merchandise from Patreon, but you can get stuff like commentary tracks, junk mails, and minisodes. And yeah, if you want to do that, you can help support your favorite show.
And if you're watching here on YouTube, please like the video and share it with your friends. Help get word out on the show. And subscribe if you're not already. And if you're listening on your favorite podcast app, leave us that 5 stars and a thumbs up. And write a little review if you can. I always say a sentence helps. Anything. Just say, you guys rule, you guys suck. You let us know. It always helps. Get more people in here. Let us improve the show. We don't know if you don't tell us. But yeah, leave those reviews. We really do appreciate it. We got to always grow this dumpster community. We're always saying it. And we want to get more people in here to join in on this movie watching, this H.P. Lovecraft, Summer of Love, the love of Lovecraft fun. You get what I'm saying.
Yeah, those reviews help more than anything. Please like, share, and subscribe. I can't tell you how much that those reviews help. They really, really do. More than you spending money on anything, signing up for Patreon, whatever. But if you do want to spend some money, we have a store at moviedumpsterpodcast.com. You can get some beach towels. We got shirts. We got hats, stickers, all kinds of good stuff. We also have a calendar there so you can keep up and see what the Dumpster Boys are doing. From July 11th to the 13th, we're going to be at VHS Fest 9. They got an awesome lineup this year, including special guest Frank Henenlotter, which is amazing. And that, of course, is going to be at the mighty Mahoning Drive-In Theater in Lehighton, PA. So grab your tickets now. So check it out, moviedumpsterpodcast.com. So H.P. Lovecraft's Necronomicon, Book of the Dead. You have not seen this before? You said in the opening?
Yeah, like I just said, first watch. I actually thought it was necromantic. I'm pointing off camera.
Totally different movie.
Yeah, I was waiting for that zombie dick or whatever.
You were waiting for him to start stabbing himself and jerk off with the blood shooting out of his
was.
blood cum? Yeah.
We talked about it on something else. Might have been the Italian Freddy Krueger episode.
I think it was, I don't know, we've mentioned a few times.
It's come up.
I think we talked about it on the Lover's Lane episode.
Oh, that might have been it. Oh, yeah, that was it.
That was it, because we were talking about the best love stories ever told, yeah.
You go check out that review. But yeah, first time viewing. I don't know. I like anthologies. It's always nice to kind of find one I haven't watched. And covered in the H.P. Lovecraft slime was kind of an added cherry on top, let's say.
Yeah, and like, so originally I wanted to really highlight the fact that this is only on VHS. Well, that's not entirely true, because we have the Blu-ray right here. It is a German Blu-ray.
Right. International release.
So in the States, officially in the U.S., this is only on VHS.
Hate to see it, man.
I know, and I just don't really understand that. I mean, I think once we get into the minutia of this and where it was made and how it was made and who owns the rights and all that kind of stuff, maybe that makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah, kind of like more recent examples that come to mind, like Dogma. Kevin Smith's been fighting for like 20 years to get. He finally got it back.
Really?
Yeah, the long ass time. That's why it's like DVD was the last time it came out.
No shit, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Freaked, Alex Winter. That might have a DVD, but I think that's a VHS only.
No, it has a DVD.
It does. Okay,
yeah, I have it upstairs.
That's another one. They're finally putting a new one out for after like 20 or 30 years. It's like, fuck, why'd this take so long?
Well, it's going to be 4K. It's going to be fucking awesome.
I guess my point of saying all this, maybe we're just waiting for that person or company or Vinegar Syndrome, someone to pick it up and say, let's do the work.
Well, as of this recording today, Vestron announced that they're doing Ghoulies 3 on Blu-ray, which I just pre-ordered. But the only way you can get that originally on Blu-ray was a German copy.
Which we probably even talked about when we covered it a couple years back, yeah.
We used the German rip for that episode, so we used it's a Blu-ray rip. Yeah, it's the best it's ever looked. But if you don't have a region-free player or, I mean, in this case, this particular Blu-ray is region-free, but it is German.
Right, so there's always that element you got to keep in mind.
Yeah.
Your Xbox might play it, but it might not be in the right language.
Right. Well, not only that, but like sometimes it doesn't have English
subtitles. Yeah.
Well, English dialogue or anything like that. Sometimes. But
you gotta look. I mean, we know that. You guys, I would hope the dumpster dwellers might know. You gotta do your extra research when you're buying those outside the U.S. Well, you know what I mean. International movies.
Look, I've done that for years because I'm a cinephile. Like if I want the movie and it's on Blu-ray and it's another language, I have a fucking region-free player. I have means to play the things.
Yeah, I mean, we're saying all this, but I just bought a couple movies off eBay, some Daniel Baldwin classics, because the only way you can get them is off eBay. The DVDs.
Holy shit, they're out of print.
Probably it's Baldwin, but yesterday's Target, there's no American release. That's actually a good example. That's only VHS, but there's a European DVD. It might actually be German. I bought the German because I'm like, fuck it. I'll just play it on Xbox. It's region free.
Sure. Oh, there you go.
But there's comments of people that bought it and are like, this doesn't work on my player. And it says like in the description, region 1 or region 2. Yeah. It's like, all right.
And to my point, a lot of people don't have things that they can watch these discs on.
That's true too.
So as far...
They might even have internet in some places.
Well...
To get it streamed in, they need the disc.
Sure, but like my point is they it being on VHS in the States, if you're not like privy to the shit or have means to watch foreign discs, the only way you can watch it is on 4.3 or VHS.
Or if you have internet, there's this website called the Internet Archive that might have a copy of it.
They do, but it's the VHS one.
Right, yeah.
And I had only seen this on VHS until I went spelunking to see if Necronomicon ever got released. I was like, this hadn't had a disc release.
You got to do your research, yeah.
Well, it turns out, who was this by again? Wicked Vision.
I like the cover. I like the artwork.
Yeah, Wicked Vision it's a German company. They put out Necronomicon on Blu-ray. And what's the coolest thing about this disc is that it's region free. So you can get it and it'll work in any Blu-ray player, so you don't have to worry about it. So if you do want to pick this flick up, I highly suggest you go grab that. And they ship from Germany, or you can get it off Amazon. But it was so cool to watch it for the first time in widescreen in high def, and it was like a brand new fucking movie, man. It was just so awesome. And all of those special effects just really came out. So I really enjoyed that.
Helps it pop off the screen.
Yeah. But I was so excited to find it. Chris Barr and I actually kind of bonded over this movie as well. This is one of them.
That sounds about right.
And as soon as I got that DVD, I ripped it and I sent
it to him.
And I sent it to him. I was like, dude, there's a Blu-ray. So I sent it to him.
He's the other guy that I know that is the Rip, besides you, the Rip King. Rips everything. He's got a whole fucking library of rips.
Chris, I am just a Padawan. Chris was the master.
He's got the Addams Family vault that's all ripped movies. You just got to know what you're looking for.
He's a nearly all digital guy, except for he collects VHS, but
sure, But he's for years.
Yeah. I mean, he's had all kinds of shit.
He's got the vault,
and he would get like all kinds of like HD rips and stuff. That's when we were doing Home Video Express. We were putting out rips of movies that were not on disc or even in HD in the US, and we were putting that out for Home Video Express to have like the best quality version of the movie you can get.
Right, that you could get. Yeah. That was your business with Chris.
We were the
and
first
cousin,
people to have a high def rip of Terror Vision.
I think we talked about
1986, yeah, in like widescreen
Yeah.
and like all cleaned up because it was ripped off of. I guess they converted it for Monsters HD or something, and Chris had a rip of that from the TV station,
Oh.
and then we put that on disc. We
Like
were
the
the only people at the time that had that.
Was it like the one time someone bothered to upscale it, Chris had the copy?
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't a Blu-ray, but
It was still good quality, yeah.
it was an HD master, I guess, in widescreen.
And you guys were doing that in the early 2000s, so that's pretty damn high good quality, you know?
For a DVD. Well, again, for movies that were only on VHS at the time. We had Code Red and we had, I believe, Scorpion and a few other ones, and like
But not many.
Anchor Bay, but
Well.
the boutique companies were small. There weren't a lot of them. There was only a few, but now we're spoiled. We have, OCN has 900 different fucking branches, like Vinegar Syndrome and VH Shitfest and all these different ones.
Right.
Saturn's Core, which are, VHFS is run by my buddy Dan, and Saturn's Core is our buddy too.
But you're right, though. A lot of the smaller ones kind of pull from the bigger companies, or they'll produce the disc, or they'll put it out, but they might not actually do the transfer. There's a lot of hands.
Sure. Vinegar Syndrome does their they do their transfers, and their transfers are incredible.
Yeah.
For sure.
I guess I say like Umbrella, for example. Like, they might have
Umbrella,
put out Super Mario Brothers. They might have actually done the work on that one, but somebody else in Europe might put it out, a different company.
And sometimes I don't count them. Because they are they're non-US.
Sure.
So sometimes you can't. I think Umbrella stuff is region free, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. They're not a US company. That's a good point.
They're Australian.
Yeah.
Or even like Olive Films or Kino or whoever, whomever. They're
Criterion, just keep throwing the names. Well, Criterion's a little bit more boutique, but I'm agreeing with you.
No, Criterion, I don't think is boutique.
You don't think so?
No, Criterion
Still
is
niche?
classics.
DVD labels, it's different than it was 20 years ago, 30 years ago.
No, 100%. But just thought that was cool that you can get it on disc, and it's in beautiful Blu-ray HD quality, and it looks fucking great. Yeah, this is a great one. And, we love anthologies here at Movie Dumpster, and we're both big fans.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, like you said before, an H.P. Lovecraft anthology, fucking sign me up. Twice.
Again, unless they just go completely off script, off all of his ideas, they're just like, name only, which I don't think happens in this case. It should be an easy home run, right?
So, yes and no.
Okay.
We're going to talk about what stories inspired each one of these and how they're different. And we talked briefly on I might bring this up again later, but we talked briefly on the Dunwich Horror episode about how I'm not always the biggest fan of how they can adapt something for a modern take and still make it work right. But I think these mostly do that.
Yes, and there is a little bit of that in this where it's like, well, he's writing this supposedly in like 1920 and there's a fucking cop car from the 80s. I'm like, well, the Necronomicon technically time doesn't matter, but that's like my only major.
Suspend your disbelief.
Yeah, that's my only major thing, and that took me out of the movie. I was like, wait, the first two, it didn't click, and the third one, I'm like, wait, that's a fucking cop car. Where's the Terminator? What's going on here?
So
it's still great, but I was confused.
So this is a brainchild of Brian Yuzna.
Yes, or Yuzna. We're still not sure if it's Yuzna or Yuzna.
Are Yuzna telling me that I've been saying Yuzna wrong?
I don't know, man. I looked up an interview where he said Yuzna, but maybe it was just the one interview I saw. Beekler, I'm sure, referred to himself as Buechler at least once in history.
No, I don't think so.
Don't throw the man a bone, or everyone that said it wrong, a bone.
I've never heard him speak his name.
Sure.
So, or anybody else say it. So that's a fringe case for me. So,
I had a deep dive for that one, Joe, to be fair. I had to actually do some digging.
If it's Yuzna, then it's Yuzna from now on. But even Rob Bottin, it's like I've said Rob Bottin for years.
And you found it was Bottin.
And I said John Buechler for years. Until you hear it, you don't know.
No, you're right. It's come up many times on the show. Probably from both of us. Connor, even when he was on the show. Yeah. Tony, definitely when he makes his appearances, getting names wrong.
Yeah, well, we're going to talk about John Buechler in a second.
We all do it, though.
Yeah. Brian Yuzna, legendary producer and director. He's the guy who brought us, along with Charles Band, but he brought us all the Reanimator movies from Beyond. Some of the biggest H.P. Lovecraft adaptations, in addition to things like Society and Silent Night, Deadly Night, Guyver, Silent Night, Deadly Night 4 or 5, but so many things. The Dentist, Dentist 2. What else did he do? There's
the more serious version of Dr. Giggles.
Yeah, right.
Seriously though,
but a ton of shit. He's another staple name that I grew up with.
Like a Phil Tippett almost. Like you just hear that name, you're like, oh. you know something's going to be coming good out of this.
It's more like a Charles Band, but yeah. Same difference.
I'm trying to connect dots, Joe. I don't always connect the right dots, but I'm connecting them.
So this is his kind of brainchild, and he loves Lovecraft, so he wanted to do a anthology. What's crazy to me is that he couldn't get funding in the States. So this is a French-Japanese or a French-Japanese production.
It makes sense why one of the directors is Japanese.
And the other one's French.
Oh, okay. I guess
Christophe
Gans
is French.
Didn't put that one together.
Yeah. So it's kind of cool that they both got money and from both countries, and then they kind of made this. And then where was it? And then later they sold it to somebody, but I forget who. Whoever distributed it. Who is it?
New Line. It looks like on the side there.
Is it New Line?
I think that's the New Line logo.
Yeah, New Line. Yeah, it was New Line. That's right. And and then New Line picked it up to distribute it. But the movie sat on a shelf for 3 years. So this was so if you notice, it's 1993 that the movie came out, but this tape did not drop until 1996.
Oh, all right. That was my next question. Was it filmed in '89 or okay?
Yeah, so it's 1990. It was finished and done in 1993, and it made festivals and it made its money back internationally. It did not get theatrical release in the U.S. It went direct to video. New Line picked it up and distributed it, and that's where it lived.
What the fuck? What the fuck?
It's still not on disc in the U.S. officially. Again, this is a German Blu-ray.
No, I just don't get the logic. Like, this is like, I don't want to always go back to cigar chomping executive because we just kind of joked about that literally in the last episode. Yeah. But like, what the fuck?
It could be a rights issue. You know, if New Line licensed it, they could have lapsed and went back to whomever did.
Oh, in the 3 years. Yeah.
Yeah, it could have went back to either the French or the Japanese company or whomever.
What a
who
shame.
knows who has it exactly? I mean, somebody clearly has it because they were able to license it for the German Blue.
Somebody in Germany, right?
Yeah, or somebody in Europe, probably.
It's just there's a lot to like about this movie, and it's a shame that now that you've given me that information, I know a lot of people. This is why it's maybe a forgotten film. A lot of people haven't seen it because they never got the opportunity to.
I would say that it's known if you're in the community and you're into these
horror,
things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're really deep in there. But I feel like the majority of people probably haven't seen this or like haven't had access to it. So it's cool. There's things like Internet Archive where you can go and I mean it's a VHS rip, but at least you can watch the movie.
Well, that's why I bring it up. It's not ideal, but at least you can watch it. Yeah.
But like it's totally worth it to drop the $20 or $15, whatever it was for that disc. It's gorgeous. The whole thing is in German, and you have to navigate the things and put it in English. But yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. That little nightmare, but it's worth it otherwise. Yeah.
I mean, it's basic German, so you can just look it up. It's get
your pocket dictionary out.
It's Latin based, so it's easy to kind of read and write it out. You know, it's a little bit easier to decipher than Chinese or Thai or Japanese or something.
The Japanese copy is like, well, I hope the first thing is just play the movie. Where I'm clicking around for a while.
So Brian Yuzna, yes, he executive produces this movie and puts it all together, but he also directs a couple segments. He directs the wraparound, which is the library, and then he also directs the last segment, which is called Whispers. But the first segment is directed by Christophe Gans, and I wanted to talk a little about the other directors first.
That's The Drowned, I believe.
The Drowned is the first story, but he directed Brotherhood of the Wolf.
Okay.
And Silent Hill.
Well, Silent Hill is what I wrote down because he's even doing the sequel that's been in like development hell for a year. Really? It's actually done. And it's just been talk about a movie sitting on the shelf. It's been sitting on a shelf for like 2 fucking years already.
You mean the third one because there's 2 movies.
Oh, maybe it's like Ascension or some shit.
Oh, I like the Silent Hill movies. I think they're fun.
It's the second one he directed. I think it's supposed to. I've heard about this for years, but I can't remember the details now. But I want to just on the little bit I looked up, it was like they finished it in 2023 and it's just been sitting there.
Yeah, well, that happens a lot with lately. That shit's been happening with films.
Maybe it's just bad. Maybe the effects need work. Maybe the funding's not there. I'm not sure what it is, but I'll watch it. That first one's pretty good.
I like the first one, and the second one's fine too.
I missed the second. That's the Sean Bean one. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Right,
it's pretty good. But yeah, and of course, Brotherhood of the Wolf is fucking awesome. It's like that twist on like the Beast of Gévaudan, which is really good.
I haven't seen it. I like the name.
Well, the Beast of Gévaudan is
is that a thing?
It's a real life thing that happened in France.
Oh, okay.
Where there was some kind of beast, something killing people in Gévaudan. And
that's okay. Creepy.
Look it up. It's fucking awesome. It's a really good story.
Like a French cryptid kind of thing?
Kind of, yeah. Okay. Like a French wolf or werewolf.
Sounds cool.
Yeah. So check it out.
It definitely is no American Werewolf in Paris by that little bit you just explained. No, but CGI.
But it's a real thing where people died, like real people died and everything, and they were trying to catch this fucking thing.
Wow.
So definitely check it out if you do. Beast of Gévaudan. And then the second story, The Cold, is directed by Shusuke Kaneko, and he's a prolific Japanese director.
Oh God, yeah.
He's done. He started just like on our Evil Dead Trap episode. We talked about that director. His name is escaping me right now, but he started off doing a lot of Pink films, which are like softcore schoolgirl Japanese movies.
Yeah, which is funny that he then transitioned into Gamera 1, 2, and 3, the 90s version.
He does fucking Gamera, the new trilogy of Gamera movies, and he fucking directs GMK.
That's the next one,
Godzilla, Mothra, and King Ghidorah, All Monsters Attack.
That was the big one from that era.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it forever, but...
That's the one where like Godzilla has like the white eyes. And
he's evil, right?
And he fucks up Baragon real good.
Yep.
Right in the beginning. You know what else he directed? The 2 live-action Death Note movies.
I wrote that down because I want to do a double episode on that eventually.
I would love to.
To rectify the fucking dark hole in season 1 when Connor was like, yeah, let's do the Death Note movie. It just came out on Netflix. Did zero research. I'm like, well, I read Death Note. It was really good. The anime was pretty good. Oh, God, Connor. Still feeling that one, brother.
That was rough.
We gotta fix that.
Yeah.
Granted, like
rectify it.
Those movies also have problems, but they're way more enjoyable than that fucking Netflix abomination. But yeah, I did see that he did those, and hey, the guy's got a series of films. He's got a long IMDb page with a lot of shit that pops out. It's kind of crazy that he did this.
Yeah. I mentioned effects before, and this has an absolutely fucking stacked FX team.
Oh, I could see it. Just based on what we get.
Tom Savini.
Oh, I missed that one.
John Carl Buechler.
Were these all in the credits? Did I fall asleep during the credits?
Chris Nelson.
Oh, my God.
Screaming Mad George.
There he is.
Those are like the heavy hitters here.
Oh, that makes sense. He worked with Yuzna on a lot of stuff. Screaming Mad George.
Yuzna.
See, I get it now. We've been saying it for years.
Yuzna gonna keep messing it up.
We'll mess it up. Dude, take a fucking shot every time. Good luck with that. But that's an unbelievable team there.
Yeah, like...
You're just missing Phil Tippett. That's about all you're missing.
I mean, it's...
Gabe Bartolos, maybe.
It's like a fucking dream team,
Yeah,
man.
that's
so like, paired with Yuzna and everybody, it was just kind of like... And of course, Jeffrey Combs is in this, but we'll get to him in a second.
Yeah.
It's such a crazy thing, and I guess that's why they had Japanese investors, because he worked with Screaming Mad George a lot.
Oh, so he probably got confidence from that. Maybe Screaming Mad George might even talk to him
connections. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. From other film production companies in Europe and Japan and stuff like that. So we got Joe LaDuca and Daniel Licht doing the scores for each of the stories. I think Daniel Licht does Drowned and Cold Air, and then Joe LaDuca does The Library Wraparound and The Whispers.
Okay.
Now, Joe LaDuca, you probably know his most famous thing for me anyway is Army of Darkness.
Oh, okay.
So he did that, and Danny Elfman did the Death March or the March of the Dead or whatever.
Yeah.
But Joe LaDuca did the rest of the music for that movie. Yeah.
Without like looking that up and comparing them side by side, that does sound like I can kind of see where the music would have differentiated there. Especially Whispers is so different.
Oh yeah, it's very. I mean, the orchestral cues and everything are just so wildly different.
Yeah. It's also the time differences between each segment. Also, I feel like the music kind of attaches itself to each time period in a specific way.
I could see that.
It's all a little different, is what I mean.
Yeah, Daniel Licht. Keep this in mind. Put a pin in this. He is the composer for the Dexter series.
You know what? When we were watching the fucking movie, me and my wife, the fucking music at one point is the Dexter theme.
We'll talk about it.
It's like, I was like, Dexter?
We'll talk about it.
Fuck?
So he reused the fucking part of this.
Yeah, main stinger.
Yeah, it's the Dexter, the credits theme.
It's that every episode when he's like monologuing right before after he kills someone, it's that one fucking like 30-second track every episode. It's in the movie. It's like so like I guess maybe he didn't know Dexter would blow into like 9 seasons, 3 spinoffs.
He had no idea.
They keep using the same fucking stinger from Necronomicon.
I think it's fucking hilarious that he was like, whatever, I did this Necronomicon movie, I'll just reuse this for Dexter, fuck it.
Oh my God, he's never gonna see the money for Necronomicon clearly at this fucking rate, but he's getting that Dexter money every year.
He's getting that Dexter check, dude.
The check gets bigger every time they do another series. They're like, oh yeah, you're doing another spinoff? Yeah, I'll sign off on that. He's like Mark Jones with Leprechaun. He's got to figure it out, man. Even if it was an accident, he's got to figure it out.
Seriously.
I forgot about that. Oh my God. The Dexter music.
So the last thing before we get into this, these are all loosely based on Lovecraft stories, and that was intentional by Brian Yuzna to do like kind of to take elements from the Lovecraft,
the stories,
the stories and the lore and all that kind of stuff, and kind of put them together. I mean, they are based on specific stories, but lots of liberties are taken in how they do it. But again, I had mentioned earlier that like I like these modern twists on these classic Lovecraft stories.
No, I mean, if it's done well, I usually like it. And in this case, I think all 3 of these are done. All 4, actually, if you count the wraparound, are done well. Yeah. It's just those cases where, and we've talked about it on this show, on other anthologies, mostly Trilogy of Terror, I think, is the one where I was kind of up and down on.
Yeah.
But it's just like when you change the time period, I don't mean to just repeat myself, it either can work or it really fucking doesn't. I would have liked to see all these more in that time period, but maybe that just wouldn't have worked. And I like the direction that they decided to go in. It works. Again, it took me out of it. I had to like reevaluate what I was watching. I was like, all right, no, this actually kind of works, but it is a little jarring as you're watching it for the first time.
I think on the whole, if you don't have the budget for the time period, I think you should stay away from it.
Like, I agree.
Unless it's like Nightmare Alley or something, you know what I mean? Like where like that nailed that kind of aesthetic that I think would work for a Lovecraft movie. I don't know. I cut that and just fucking, make it take place in like a modern setting.
Yeah, but I mean, just to kind of go just one last note on that, or put the pin in it, like Reanimator, we mentioned that on the last episode, but that's a good one where it's like they modernized it. Obviously, it's not the same. Very similar to some of those concepts, but it's, that's the way to do it. Yeah. If that like took place in the 20s or 30s, still probably would have been good, but maybe it wouldn't have been as memorable as it ended up being.
Sure.
We don't know. We can't wind back the fucking clock, Joe. We're not Superman.
So yeah, let's get into this, man. You want to like plot crunch this a little bit? You don't have to plot crunch everything, but just the general, what this movie is.
I'm trying to remember what the fuck we did for Creepshow. I should just replicate that, but it's been a while. Basically, this like we said, it's an anthology movie, but the kind of wraparound is H.P. Lovecraft is going to this monastery where he's heard there's a copy of the Necronomicon because he needs it to verify some stuff for his stories. He's got to make, because his stories are all real. He claims they're not. They're fiction. They're nonfiction. Yeah. And so he kind of goes in there. He burgles a key and gets into the locked room, and he gets the Necronomicon. And then just as he's writing each story, these like gates behind where the Necronomicon was sitting are opening, and you're seeing like these symbols, assuming which are from his work, these Cthulhu-esque symbols, and he's paying no mind to it because all he cares about is writing his 3 fucking stories. Yep. And things start to increasingly, as we come back to this wraparound, things are getting worse and worse. And it kind of ends with him, what is he going to do with the Necronomicon? And then he's got to get the fuck out of there. But like I said, we got our 3 stories, which we're going to expand on. But one is called The Drowned, one is called The Cold, and one is called Whispers. And I feel like if I just explain that, it defeats the whole point of the rest of this. But they're each individual stories.
We're going to go through
it. From different time periods with, HP's fucking writing them as we're watching it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of a cool framing device. I wasn't sure if I was going to like it at first, but Combs just, he nails the part.
So good.
And yeah, this is a weird one. It's hard with the anthologies to get real meaty on the plot crunch.
No, absolutely. So let's just jump in. We open up at this library, this big monastery that is... I guess run by these monks, these specific monks, and we get this kind of VO from Jeffrey here, and he talks about how, the book of the Necronomicon book, what it is and where it is and why he needs it, and he's gonna go try to get it.
Right? Yeah. He pulls up in the cab, and again, like we already said, Jeffrey Combs as H.P. Lovecraft. He kind of looks like the statue that Joe's got on the table. They try,
sort of. So
he's got the comb over.
So if you noticed, my copy here is signed by Jeffrey Combs.
Ah, okay.
Exhumed Films, Jeffrey Combs tribute show, and he was there when I met him, and I was talking about this, and I had him sign this, and I was like, oh, I love this movie, and blah blah blah. And it was funny because he as soon as he saw it, he started laughing, and he's like, man, what it's not verbatim, but he basically said that he's like, I don't know what they were thinking casting me. He's like, I loved it, but like, I didn't really look like Lovecraft.
Oh, I'm trying to say he did a little bit, but I guess I don't know.
And then to that extent, I was talking to him about, Stuart Gordon's The Black Cat for Masters of Horror and how he played Edgar Allan Poe, which looked fucking incredible.
Okay.
And he actually played Poe in a bunch of stage plays, and I asked him if he was going to do that, and he said he might go on tour again with that. So that's something I fucking need to see.
We talked about Poe a little bit in the last episode. Maybe we got to go do some Poe down the line, man.
Oh, totally. Well, I would love to cover Stuart Gordon's Black Cat. But the makeup that he has on his face, it's not bad, but he looks more like Bruce Campbell than he does H.P. Lovecraft.
Yeah, we did say that earlier. You mentioned that, yeah.
You know, I was watching it, and Julie's like, it sounds like Jeffrey Combs. She's like, is that fucking Jeffrey Combs? What's wrong with his face? You know, it's like when they tried to make William Hickey young in the Tales from the Crypt episode, that fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger.
God, the man's always old. Hagstrom from fucking Roomstone and Christmas Vacation, of course.
It's like, it's kind of uncanny, and you're like, oh, that's, okay.
Yeah. Doesn't work exactly as intended.
Looks like the fucking one of the Duracell people from those commercials, or like Primus from the known as Big Brown Beaver.
Well, meanwhile, someone that's maybe not, again, not to just keep fucking repeating myself, but someone that's not as keyed into what he actually looks like. I'm like, yeah, it looks like H.P. Lovecraft.
Oh, sure, yeah.
So that's funny to hear.
I mean, mostly, yeah.
Yeah. It's just a funny little anecdote. I like that.
So he goes in there. He has his little cab stay there.
Yeah.
It was driven by Brian Yuzna.
He's the cabbie.
Yeah,
he's like, hold there.
And he's like, okay. So he's there the entire hour and a half or however long he's there.
The fucking meter's just
Guess
going
he's
up.
paying him fucking good money.
I mean, yeah. He's getting these stories out of the Necronomicon. You hope he's getting some kind of deal with some kind of entity to make these sell, right?
He's got that weird Tales money, yeah.
Oh, God.
So he goes inside and he meets this monk and he's like, "Oh, Mr. Lovecraft, how are you?" And he's like, "Yes, I need some books about alchemy, of course." And he's like,
Volume 3.
He's like, "Oh, which volume?" He's like, "Volume 3." And he's like, when he's looking up there, Lovecraft fucking steals the guy's keys.
This guy's clueless.
And he's like, "Okay, and remember what I told you, don't leave this room or you'll revoke your privileges." And he's like, "Yep, okay, gotcha."
I do love how the other monk straight up sees him go in that back room and it's just like, huh, all right, that just happened. I better report this. Like, he doesn't say it, but you can see it in his eyes. Like,
it's the I don't get paid enough look. Like,
well, later he's telling the guy about it like he just found out. He's like, could he? Maybe.
I mean, he might have.
It's like, take this more seriously, buddy. He's a fucking Necronomicon.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so HP he's running down the stairs and he like finds this door and he opens the door and like there's like a jail cell door that he opens and then beyond that is a safe in the wall.
Right, like a locked in room, like a jail cell kind of room.
Yeah. So the Necronomicon is hidden in a safe behind this jail cell wall behind this other locked door.
But they didn't like turn the fucking knob so that he couldn't he just opens it. He like listens for a second. He's like, huh.
He doesn't even listen. The fucking safe opens itself. The Necronomicon,
wow.
the powers that be open the safe for him, and he just takes the book out. It's fucking
That's good shit though, man.
It's great.
He didn't need a hearing aid from some guy in Batman Forever style.
Boiling acid.
Well, there's boiling acid or something below him because we just see this bubble in water and maybe a tentacle. You don't really get a good view of it yet, but there's something moving around under there.
What the fuck is the name of that Star Wars thing? The Trash Beast, the Daganova or whatever it's called?
I don't know. I love Star Wars, but I don't know the names.
It starts with a D. I always forget.
The eye pops out.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gets startled because the fucking door slams shut.
The door slams. Basically, it locks him in.
He drops the key in the grate in the bubbling water.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, fuck. Like, now he can't even get out.
But then he's like, oh, well. Puts the book on the table, starts writing shit down.
Might as well use my time wisely. So he takes the Necronomicon and he starts writing his stories.
Well, and then, like, this is the first, I guess, they're almost like gates, but they look like doors opening. Like, and this is like one of the only bad. I think it's CGI. If this is practical, shame on me, but these doors that open.
The doors are open and practical.
They don't look great.
There's no CG in this that I spotted.
Maybe I just didn't like the look of
it. There's compositing, but there's no CG.
All right.
Like the last story has like green or blue screen compositing.
Okay.
And you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just such a nitpick in the scheme of things. I just wish this gate opening looked cooler with the symbols.
There's awesome like miniatures in this, which we're gonna get to. Yeah. These gates are opening, and it's like a new layer as he gets deeper into the Necronomicon. The doors keep opening
with the different symbols.
Yeah, with the different symbols. And
thematically, it's very cool. I just hung up on the details. Can't help it. But he starts writing the first one, and I love he gets the notebook out. He opens up the apparently he knows what page. He's like flipping to it.
Hey man, it's nothing new for him. He fucked with the Necronomicon and Cellar Dweller. He brought that thing to life through a comic book.
Right before he changed his name to H.P. Lovecraft, right, and traveled back in time using the Buchanan.
Exactly.
Lines up. But yeah, he just starts writing. He's like, well, they're gonna catch me eventually. Fuck it, I better get to work.
Yeah.
And he's got his quill out and he writes. I love how it shows him writing like the drowned.
Yeah.
And it's him writing, and then it goes into his narration, and it fades into the actual scene.
Okay, so this one is loosely based on the rats in the walls.
Okay, I did see that name, but no context.
Yeah, but it's not. Is loosely based.
Very loose. Okay.
Yeah. It like begins and ends with the dude inheriting the estate, and looking for something.
But that's the only
But that's
similarity,
it.
really?
Yeah,
Okay.
but that's it.
Side note, when this fucking guy walks in, our main character, for the first, like, 5 fucking minutes, I thought it was Rutger Hauer. I was like, Rutger Hauer's in this! Holy shit! I was like, oh my god, Rutger Hauer! And then he, like, starts speaking. I was like, oh, well, maybe that's not. And then he takes his glasses off. I was like, that's not fucking Rutger Hauer, you idiot!
No, you know who it is, though. Bruce Payne.
Yeah,
Damodar
God.
himself.
I had to look that one up. I was like, this guy looks so fucking familiar. Yeah, from Dungeons and Dragons.
Good old Blue Lips.
Blue Lips. And he came back for the sequel.
Yeah.
Which I still have not watched.
I think he's great in this, and
he's good. He's no Rutger Hauer, but he's good.
No, but it is reminiscent of the guy from Bleeders. You know
Maybe
what I
that's
mean?
why I
it's
was doing
similar.
that.
It feels similar.
With the hair,
the
it threw me
hair,
off.
the glasses, going to an old fucking decrepit estate house.
I'm saying to my wife, yeah, there's Rutger Hauer just before Bleeders, before he found the fully functioning vagina in the working penis.
No, he was probably shooting Bleeders when this came out.
That's what I came to the again
Yeah.
MDU, but whatever. Yeah, this guy, he's walking up the stairs with. Is this the realtor? Who is this woman with the fucking mink coat?
She's a realtor.
Okay.
And she's basically like, I guess, the caretaker of this place, and like his uncle had left it to him in his will, and his uncle's dead now.
And no one's been there for fucking 60 years, and they let it fall to shit.
They just let it go into ruin.
This is like when fucking Janine let Egon's goddamn worm farm go to shit. She knew he was out there all those years and didn't tell anybody. She's
Dirt
like,
farmer.
yeah, I'm the one in charge of the estate. Sorry, it looks like shit. I never vacuumed. It's like, all right, man, get a fucking mop in here. Because this looks like, speaking of House of Usher, this feels like House of Usher, man. Like when you're walking in.
Oh, kind of, yeah.
Dilapidated house.
Yeah, it's great. It's the set is fucking awesome. It's really cool. So Bruce Payne is Edward de la Poor.
Right.
Okay, so
ED on the luggage.
Yeah.
They keep showing that.
Ed. So he inherits this. They call it a hotel. It's like the fucking Bodega Bay Inn, right, from Puppet Master.
Yeah, they're in the wall, right?
They call it. Yeah, that's what's in the wall. It's not rats in the wall. It's puppets in the
You
wall.
were talking about Hagstrom a second ago.
One of the coolest things right out of the gate, he comes in, and when they walk into to check out the hotel, it like pans down through the floorboards, and you see this like all these underground passageways, and the fucking ocean is like right there.
Oh god, well,
And it's like shining all this green light. It's really cool.
But then he's like going up the steps, and these steps, like, again, they're dilapidated. He instantly falls through like the 4th fucking step. And then we see like what's under the house, and it's like this massive room, like a basement with this huge fucking well in the middle.
Yeah, it's huge.
I'm like, where's Lubden? Where's Cumdar?
Well, you know what? It reminded me of Stuart Gordon's Dagon.
Yeah, that makes more
There's
sense.
like a similar scene at the end of that movie where like they go down in this big giant well where they like throw their sacrifice down.
Did that come before or after this?
It came after this.
Okay, maybe they're riffing on this a little then.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it could be.
I haven't seen it.
You know.
I'm familiar with Dagon, just
Yeah.
not the Stuart Gordon movie.
Well, the Shadow over Innsmouth is what it's
Oh,
based
is
on.
all that? Yeah. Again, I played a whole fucking video game about it, but it's been a couple
Dark
years.
Corners of the Earth, man.
Yeah,
Were you talking about
Sinking
that
City's what I played.
one? Sinking
but
City's great, but Dark Corners of the Earth, man.
another good one.
Yeah,
I gotta play that.
Really excellent. That was for the original Xbox
You
or
pro-
Xbox 360.
Oh yeah, I remember when that came out years ago. You probably even have told me on another episode to play it. I just can't remember.
So the building is set to be demolished any day now, and he's kind of picking up the pieces. And is he going to sell it? Is he going to keep it? He doesn't know.
Well, the realtor's like, just sell it, knock it down, sell the
She's like,
land.
She's like, look at this bed, nice bed, huh? You want to fuck on it or something?
She does say that.
Yeah.
This dirty ass bed hasn't been. Speaking about nothing getting clean, this definitely hasn't been clean.
So he's walking through the house, and he's having these flashbacks in his head of this car crash.
Well, that's when the time period started. I was like, all right, maybe they had this kind of car, because I was still doing that mental gymnastics.
Oh, okay, all right, yeah.
I
supposed
don't
to be
know.
more.
Can't help
It's
it.
supposed to be more like timeless, but this one specifically feels like 40s.
Yeah.
Or 30s
Close
or
enough.
40s. Maybe even the 20s, honestly.
Yeah, maybe.
Because the flashbacks of his uncle are probably like late 1700s.
I think that's what threw me
early
off.
1800s.
The
Yeah.
sea captain shit.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
he's having these flashbacks to this accident.
Yeah.
Which later it's implied he just wasn't paying attention to the road,
Yeah.
but either way, there's this horrific scene of this car going off the cliff. Well, and you get him and his wife or girlfriend
It's his wife, Clara, and
in the car with him.
and she dies and she drowns.
Yeah.
And
Horrific.
He has like this flashback at the mortician, and like she's
Oh my-
she's like floating in a pool.
Is that what they did back then? Well,
I
she
don't-
was already in the water.
So we just figured, yeah, fuck it.
with her head detached.
And he like picks up her head, and he's like, "This her," and he's like, "Oh God."
I can't believe HP didn't write that one. I was like, damn, that is some dark shit.
So she's like, yeah, whatever. I would sell it if I was you. Anyway, here's a letter from your grandfather. that was left with his will. So here you go.
Oh, and you mentioned it already about the water under the house, the ocean, but she specifically calls that out, and she's like, yeah, the house kind of shakes. That's the sound of the water under the house. Eventually, it's all going to erode. That's why you should sell it.
And the whole fucking thing is going to collapse into the ocean.
That's literally House of Usher. I wonder if they had the fucking cliff notes. Oh, we're doing H.P. Lovecraft, but we have House of Usher over here.
I mean, also, again,
on a very base level, the story's different.
Lovecraft is inspired by Poe. And I'm sure everybody's a fan of Poe that's making this movie as well as Lovecraft. So it could be it's a melding pot of ideas.
It works great.
Them.
I'm just saying that's where my brain goes.
Totally,
instantly.
Especially for like an anthology story. I think it's really fun because that's like the kind of ticking clock element. Like what's going to happen? Because any day now it's going to fall into the sea.
Right, oh, right.
Yeah.
That realtor can't wait to fucking peel out of there. She's like, see ya.
Yeah.
Hope it doesn't hit you on the ass on the way down.
So she leaves. I decorated that whole thing myself. Here's my card. Thanks, Jane.
You're not going to get to see my titties, though. Not in the hand.
So
you get to see the real Jane Butterfield in that one.
The real Jane Butterfield. Is that the name of the porn?
Yeah, that's the one Michael Caine. That's the whole movie. He's got that one at home in the private
He's got that
stash.
on 16 mil, dude. Yeah, 8 mil. There you go.
Show his wife that one.
So he gets this letter from his uncle Jethro, and he opens it up. You know, he lights a fire and he opens it up. It's really cool.
I love how they did this fucking letter. Just old, dirty piece of shit.
Fucking awesome. He's reading it out loud, and his voice turns into his uncle's voice, played by the fucking awesome Richard Lynch.
Oh, is that who that was?
I love this guy. Yeah, no, he's in a ton of stuff. He's in a lot of Full Moon stuff.
Yeah.
He's in Trancers 2. He's in Puppet Master 3.
Yep.
He's in Werewolf, famously. If anybody's seen the MST3K, with Joe Estevez, that Werewolf.
Yeah. Oh my God. We've talked about that. I know Connor's a fan of the actual movie.
Yeah, Nana. I'm an actual fan. He likes the.
Maybe that's where I'm getting my wires crossed.
But Richard Lynch is fucking great.
Yeah, he's
awesome.
What a role, man.
Yeah. Oh, he's in Alligator 2 as well.
Who the hell is he in that?
He's like the hunter. His brother's Kane Hodder.
We got to do that. We did that episode on, what was that, Dissect That Film.
Yeah.
We gotta bring that over on the dumpster one day. That's a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Thomas Rosales Jr. I always think he's in it like for 2 minutes. I just watched Lost World again and I was like, there he is, Thomas Rosales Jr.
He's that guy. He's working for Scorpio. He's working for InGen.
Fucking Carter, man. Before he gets stepped on by a T-Rex, he was very busy.
So this is really cool. This is done really, really well. Flashes back, and Richard Lynch is on a ship with his family. There's a big shipwreck, and he's kind of narrating what happened. And the way that they did this is fucking it's great. The ship wrecks, and he's washed up on shore, and the townsfolk, pick him up and find him, and they find his wife and his son, and they're both drowned.
Oh God! When he comes out during the funeral, he's like,
oh my
his
God.
legs all boarded up, his arms all bleeding.
Well, he's in his bed and he wakes up and he's like, "What the fuck?" And he's like, "All right, Jethro, like relax, you're gonna be fine." They're like cutting his arm to like let him bleed because they
still believe
they would do that.
Yeah. We gotta bleed all the bad out.
And he's like, "Oh, where's my wife?" And he gets up, and they're both like laid out in the hall, in the big hall.
All the mourners are there,
and all the mourners are there.
And he's screaming, "Oh!" He's like having a meltdown in front of all these people.
Dude, he fucking takes the Bible, picks it up, and fucking throws it in the fire.
In front, like talking about Batman Begins.
Yeah,
level.
Talk about Dracula.
Yeah, that's a better example.
Yeah.
Just want to talk about Bruce Wayne burning his house down.
Oh well, yeah. Well, Dracula denounces God, and so does Richard Lynch.
He does that in front of all these people, and he's like, if God exists, he doesn't exist in this home anymore. If he allows this to happen, essentially.
Yeah, because you let him, and that's the same reason for Bram Stoker's Dracula. He's like, well, if you let her die, then I fucking did all this shit for you. Fuck yourself.
But it also opens that fucking door when you're denouncing God for something else to step in.
Swings both ways, baby.
And it's not the fucking devil. He wished it was the damn devil.
Man, so he is like in a state of despair. And this fucking deep one wearing like a Raiden hat comes in. Really fucking cool, man. So a deep one is like they're from Innsmouth and they're like the half fish people, right? And it's got this cloak on and the seaweed's dripping all over him. He looks like fucking Ted Danson in Creepshow.
Yeah, just gotta keep bringing him up.
Yeah,
right at the end. Yeah,
I mean, this is apropos.
Oh yeah.
So it walks in and it basically is like, well, since you denounced God, somebody's here for you. And you're like, what the fuck? He hands him this disgusting fucking barnacle-ridden, seaweed-laden book.
Delivered, I'm assuming, directly from Dagon. I don't think they say it.
Yeah, Dagon's like, hey, go give it to him. He's right there. Or Cthulhu himself.
One or the other, for sure, yeah. And also, up to that point, before he reads the letter, everyone, I think the realtor's like, yeah, your uncle, he threw himself from the balcony. He couldn't handle it anymore. So he's just assuming, well, he just committed suicide.
Yeah.
But now he's getting getting like the full like
The full
why he
scope,
did.
yeah.
You're like, oh, because his family died. It's like, no, he made a dark pact with an old one. He has his fucking pentagram ritual. He's setting up
Straight
his
up.
ghouly shit.
Yeah, I think it's got to be Dagon, right? That's what it feels like. I mean, I think that's what they're going for. They don't explicitly say it.
A lot of context clues if you
Yeah.
again if you've read anything or have seen anything.
I mean, there's a deep one, and what we see later, you're like, okay, maybe that's something.
The water theme.
We'll talk about it, yeah. But it also coincides with Cthulhu and the spawn of Cthulhu.
I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if Dagon was the one that killed his fucking wife and kid because they knew, well, it's gonna get him on my fucking side.
it could be.
I'm just thinking about how gods work
shipwrecked
and
him?
devils.
Yeah, maybe. So he takes it off, and boom, there's the Necronomicon. He takes all the seaweed and shit off.
yeah.
He opens it up, and he finds a ritual, and he reads a passage, which is directly from Call of Cthulhu. The line, I don't know it verbatim, but it's with strange eons, even death may die, or Cthulhu waits in dreams, kind of thing. It's that passage. I don't know verbatim.
I was gonna say it must be Cthulhu then if they're leaning into that with the dialogue.
Well, yeah, but then he says like Cthulhu Fhtagn and all that kind of shit. So it's directly from the Lovecraft story.
Got you. And obviously, he's playing
Not like Dunwich, where they just make up a bunch of shit
Right,
instead
well-
of just using like a passage from Lovecraft.
yeah, go back and watch a review on that.
Yeah.
But I kind of love this though because he's very clearly trying to resurrect his family or bring them back to life is the point.
Yeah.
But if you know anything about alchemy, which is basically what this is, that ain't gonna work, buddy. There's equivalent exchange. You're also dealing with some kind of entity you don't really fully understand. But yeah, just throw this fucking. What does he throw on there? His blood?
His blood, yeah. We know. You know what happens to Lizette? What happened to Bobby when he came back?
Oh, right, Trilogy of Terror, right?
Yeah. You remember what happened when what's his face from Ticks died on that pentagram
That's true, too.
in the toy shop, and the demonic toys came back.
Oh God, yeah, when he got yeeted. Right, I was gonna say, literally, Full Metal Alchemist. You know what they tried to do in like the first or second episode? They tried to bring their mom back, and everything goes to shit. They're like, well, something came back, but it wasn't of this world.
No, it sure wasn't. But this is a twist. When the twist comes, it's pretty fucking good. So his wife and his son come back, and he's like, "Oh my God, my boy, they're back. This is great." And he's like about to hug his son, and he starts to fucking melt, and his wife like melts, and all this shit comes out of him, and then like an octopus comes out of his mouth with the tentacles.
This is the H.P. Lovecraft shit I was waiting for during
great.
the whole Dunwich Horror movie.
Yeah.
Maybe that's me because I've only played certain things or read certain things.
Well,
but...
Sean, I mean, you have NFX smorgasbord of people here, so
just tentacle shit. That's what I want. That's what most people probably want, right? Like to see that.
I don't. Well, different kinds of tentacle things.
Well, right, yeah, you have the hentai for sure, little blue girl and all that stuff. We talked about that on the track about Magic Begins.
Yeah, we'll get to some other tentacle stuff.
But I love that the octopus mouth, and I think the mom has not verbatim the same thing or something very similar.
Yeah, so he like freaks out, and then that's kind of when the flashback ends.
Well, that's why he kills himself supposedly.
Yeah. I thought this kid was the son from Jack Frost. It sounded and looked like him, but I looked it up and it said it wasn't. So.
This is like a Cocaine Bear situation where I thought the kid was from Talladega Nights, but it was like way too long after. It's like, no, he would have been like 40, you idiot.
I jumped out of my seat because I was like, oh my God, is this the same kid? It turns out it's not. But
your brain plays tricks on you. You got that movie Dumpster Universe in the back of your head, right?
Exactly. So he comes to the end of the letter and he's reading about where he had put the book before he killed himself, and he's like, the book is guarded by my beloved.
Right. Yeah.
And it kind of trails off, and he's like, fuck, I can't read the rest of this note. So Eddie starts going crazy and like ripping apart the house looking for the Necronomicon book.
The problem is
do the ritual.
Oh, wow. We find out
to bring his Clara back.
Right. He pulls a Pet Cemetery. He doesn't learn anything.
Oh, no, not at all. He's like, what? You can bring him back?
Forget about all that other horrible shit he wrote about
shit.
That led to him killing himself because the last sentence was blurred out so he couldn't read what he said.
Well, he feels that guilt is so strong, you know?
You know what he needed, though? He's looking all over the house. He needed a fucking Wolfman to find it for him, like Dracula Monster Squad. Like, he knew where that thing was, but he couldn't get to it. He's like, Wolfman, get in there.
He's like, Wolfman, you can handle the garlic and the crosses. Go get that shit.
Yeah, that's what not Rutger Hauer did. Instead, like you said, he just does the fucking ritual. He's like, well, it worked out great for my grandpa.
Well, this is great because he can't find this fucking thing. And he like falls asleep, and these fucking tentacles come out from underneath the house, and they like caress his face,
like out of the well or something.
And they're like influencing him because it's like whispering to him, and it's like behind my beloved, the book, blah blah blah.
Almost as if whispering is a theme in H.P. Lovecraft stories. I don't know.
Also, like influencing the dreams here is a thing. I mean, it's there so that we can see it personified, but it's also speaking to him through his mind.
Yeah.
Right? So he wakes up and he's like, oh, I got it. It's behind my fucking aunt's painting.
Right, yeah, they keep showing that.
He sees earlier. So he rips her off the wall and he sticks his hand back there and he finds the fucking Necronomicon.
Doesn't look first, just hand first, like no spiders, no bear traps. I hope there's nothing back there besides a book. Just look first, idiot.
So he comes into possession of it. And he thumbs through it again, and then he recreates the ritual that his uncle did. And nothing happens.
At first.
And he's like, what a crock. And then he goes upstairs and goes to bed. And as he's sleeping, you see like a gross hand like grab the banister and like slopping up the stairs. And it's Clara. And she's come back from, I guess, the drowned TM comes back, and she has like this long ass hair. She's got seaweed all over her. She's like super pale, super veiny, and super gross.
The ritual worked when he did it. It was just she was so far away from where she died. She had to fucking make her way, just swim a while.
Well, we'll see. So he's like, oh my God, Clara, you're alive. He wakes up. He's like, oh my God. So she like saunters over to him, and it's like this gross, like sloppy thing, and she's not looking at him yet. And she goes, he takes her in her arms and like he lays down and she starts like kissing his stomach, and she kisses his stomach and like this white shit comes out of her mouth. It's fucking gross.
Well, the tentacles coming out.
And then you see like it start to come out of her mouth, and he's like, what the fuck? And then these tentacles come out and he like pushes her off. And she's
they're
like,
grabbing her. Grabbing him.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, why? And she's like, oh, don't you love me? Like, oh, love me, hold me, kiss me.
Don't push me away.
Her fucking eyes like sink out and like these like, I don't even know what. Like tentacles come out of her eyes and shit.
That was crazy. Attack him.
Dude, he reaches up and grabs a sword off the wall and fucking cuts her like down the shoulder like in half. And she like flies backward out the door. It turns out that she was attached to this tentacle, like almost like Terror Vision. You know how the TV monster like makes people like it like metamorphoses into people. This is what this fucking eldritch thing had done. It like turned its tentacle into like a version of his wife. Man, it's cool. She like flies off the balcony and flies down the stairs and like blows through the fucking bottom of the floor.
We mentioned CGI. This shot CGI when she transforms back and forth into the tentacle. That doesn't look great.
Yeah, but I can forgive that.
Yeah, same. No,
it's
same.
It's like a weird shitty dissolve, but I can forgive it.
The point is comes across regardless, and then he gets up and he's like chasing this like now tentacle thing. She's like transforming back into his wife who's dead, and like no, like climbing towards him, but he now sees the tentacle. He's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. So he's got this fucking sword and he like runs out.
Well, he notices the chandelier's like above where these tentacles are coming out of the floor, so you kind of it's a visual thing, but he hits like the rope, but it doesn't fall.
It falls, but not all the way.
Right.
So it's like hanging there, and it's like this big ass candelabra with like big spikes on it. Why would they make candelabras with fucking spikes on them? I don't know. That's like a Robin Hood thing, right? Are they just to cut so they can kill people if they come in like a mob?
Well, I think the idea is you're not going to cut the fucking thing, obviously, but you're going to let it down to clean it occasionally is the logic.
I guess.
Or put new candles in.
Right, but there's like spikes on the end.
I don't know. I'm trying to give some the spikes I got nothing, Joe. Medieval shit.
I love it.
I don't know.
I think it's like a built-in like home booby trap if you needed to, right?
Wow, he fucking needs it. Because before he gets a chance to do his Resident Evil move, and Resident Evil will keep coming up in a second.
Oh, it's great.
He does this like swing across the fucking room as this creature bursts through the fucking floor.
The whole floor caves out, and I don't know if this is supposed to be Dagon or a Shoggoth or whatever, but it's got this giant fucking eye and this big mouth and all these tentacles, dude.
And it's yellow, so that's where you shoot it, obviously.
It's fucking awesome. And like this is like all miniatures, so it's like this big puppet on this this small set. It's really cool.
I couldn't tell.
It's so fucking cool. And then it's kind of trying to grab him, and he's climbing out of the roof of this giant. And he's like at the roof of this giant hotel, like trying to bust through this stained glass. And he finally shakes and kicks the fucking chandelier, and this thing falls and stabs this thing right in its giant eye.
Again, Resident Evil. You got a yellow spot, weak spot, just like every other Resident Evil game. Shoot it in the eye, and fucking kills it.
Looks like fucking Queen Goma from
Zelda.
Zelda, yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god, I'm thinking of like Sadler or some shit. But
Oh,
any
yeah.
Resident
Well,
Evil.
Sadler too, yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
he
his
always
big bloat.
Yeah,
in his mouth.
Even Birkin has the big yellow thing on the shoulder.
Yeah, the eye.
Yeah. So that was kind of a hilarious little detail. I was like, Resident Evil, Shinji Mikami, definitely a fan of this one. He wrote that down for future reference. But like, I don't mean to just shit on Dunwich Horror by saying this, but when this segment ended, because it ends like in a minute,
yeah,
I was like, this whole segment I liked more than the whole Dunwich Horror movie.
Well, it's full
personal
of
preference.
It's
too.
full of action. It's creepy. It's also 2 decades later. You know what I mean?
No, that's fair.
So,
it's also what I wanted. I didn't go into it with those preconceived notions. Maybe after I saw Dunwich, I was like, all right, maybe don't think too much about that going in. Just watch it and enjoy.
It's not that type. Dunwich is not that type of movie.
Nah, it's
this
not.
is that type
This
of movie.
is, oh, yeah.
You know, this is the sloppy fucking special effects movie.
That's why it pisses me off that you say this didn't make it into the theaters. I think people would have really enjoyed this.
Not U.S. theaters.
Well, that's what
European
I mean.
theaters.
Yeah.
So Ed, like, punches the rest of his way through this stained glass and he climbs up and he is able to see the sunrise on another day. Unfortunately, now if this was a Lovecraft story through and through,
the building would have
the building would have fucking collapsed and he would have died.
right as he succeeds.
Yeah. Or he would have looked down into this monster and not killed it and just went fucking insane.
Well, they're saving that for a later segment, that scenario. So
there you go.
I'm okay with them not doing that every time if there's 3 of these.
So he makes it out, question mark.
Yeah.
And everything is honky-dory.
Well, HP, cutting back to HP at the library, he starts to get a little distracted because now the heat's on. Now this thing's starting to move under the fucking crate, or cage, rather.
It's like bubbling. The second door opens.
Yeah. He sees the symbol. He's like, yes.
Yeah, cool. Everything's working out good.
All right, matches my notes. By the way, that symbol makes me think of a story I was going to write.
Well, not only the symbol, but like it starts blowing this cold air out, right? And he's like, oh, it's freezing in here. I'm going to put this jacket on. He's like, oh, look at this. Well, you know what? I'll call this story Cold Air.
Right. Oh, God. Yeah.
Or the cold, excuse me.
The cold. And this is also where the guy who kind of saw him earlier goes to the head monk or whatever the fuck he's supposed to be. And he's like, yeah, you think he's in there? I don't know. He shouldn't be in there.
He's like, he's not stupid enough to be in there. And he's like, maybe.
Yeah. And they're like kind of putting it together. But we have one more segment, so they can't go in there yet.
Not just yet.
Yeah. They're working towards it.
So here we have the Cold Air. Now, this is directed by Shusuke Kaneko.
Yes.
And this one is loosely based on the Cool Air.
I was going to say, unless you're going to tell me that in H.P. Lovecraft's written word, there is a massive fucking air conditioner on the side of a building, I don't think he came up with maybe ice blocks in an apartment, possibly.
I'm having trouble remembering that one.
Okay.
But it's very similar.
So
like, it's super similar premise.
They had cold rooms, ice rooms back then. I'm just saying specifically the giant air conditioner.
He was doing it
different.
in a certain way where he could. Because there's like an apparatus later where he's like, we'll talk about
Yeah.
Which I feel like would be I think is part of that story.
Sure. But yeah, I kind of love the setup on this one. It kind of starts with this reporter just knocking on this Victorian house. Like
Dennis Christopher, dude.
Yes.
Did you recognize him?
No, I was kind of just going to roll with it. You kind of call my bluff. No, I have no fucking clue who this is.
He's adult Eddie in the It miniseries.
Oh, I did read that, but didn't put it together.
Yeah, he's also in Alien Predators, too.
The second one?
No. Alien Predators. It's a movie.
Oh.
Yeah.
No clue.
It's a B movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to watch it now to get the full circle, so I understand that.
Yeah.
But yeah, he comes in and he's like, they showed the air conditioner on the side, this massive air conditioner for, again, I thought it was like 1930.
Yeah.
But I guess it's supposed to be like the 60s or 70s. I'm not sure.
Possibly. I think it's cool, though.
Yeah.
The way that they do it, because it's like...
It's cool.
Oh, it's the cool air TM, yeah.
Yeah. No, it does work.
Yeah, it works. I like it a lot. It's cool, because it's like pseudo-futuristic.
Yes. But he goes in there and he's like, all right, this guy, he supposedly lived here like 100 fucking years, but who are you? And
Is that guy still alive? What do you mean?
Yeah, what is this woman's name, but this main character?
Emily. So Dennis Christopher plays Dale Porkle, who is a reporter, like you said. And he's an investigative reporter. He's there because people have been dying for years, and there's been a new rash of killings in the neighborhood, and it follows the same MO as it has before. So he's trying to solve the case, essentially.
Right.
Get down to the nitty-gritty.
So he goes in there and he meets this woman, Emily, and they do this whole thing where you can't really tell like what she looks like, and she has like a bonnet on and sunglasses, and she's wearing a shawl, sweater. She's got the whole 9 yards.
She's dressed up like Mom, dude.
Oh God, from the movie Mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
She's got her shades on.
That style, for sure. And he's like, oh, damn, it's fucking cold in here. She's like, yeah, I have a condition, so you just have to kind of deal with it. Yeah, this air's gonna keep pumping.
So he's got like a
shit.
blanket around him, and he's drinking tea and shit as he's interrogating her.
Every word out of his mouth, there's a fucking cloud, just a cold breath hitting the air.
Yeah.
She's talking, doesn't bother her. She's used to it, so it's kind of also a good visual gag.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, so what the fuck happened here? Can you explain? How did you come into ownership of this house?
Yeah, and he's like, "Where's the doctor again?" Like, it says the doctor should be dead, but there's no death certificate.
Right, he
for
owns
the
house.
doctor. Yeah, and he's like, "Well, where the fuck is he? Where's his body? What's the deal here? What's going on?"
They do this thing too before she kind of starts explaining what happened, which is the bulk of the actual story.
Yeah.
She's kind of like in the kitchen talking to somebody else, her mom, she claims, who is like what the story is all about. But you don't see the mother. You see like the tray handed. So they're putting that nugget in your head like, oh, is that really the mom? Is it not? But you have zero context. So they just want you to think about that.
Yeah.
You know, she starts explaining the story of, well, you know, I have this condition because my mother moved here, and if she never moved here, I would never have this condition. So you're like, all right, so she clearly fucked someone and had a baby.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, I'm going to tell you the story based on what my ma told me after she moved here. And then we kind of go into a flashback.
And most of the episode, this whole
Segment.
segment is a flashback until the very end.
95% of it, yeah.
So yeah, Emily tells a story about her mom renting a room in this building, and in the building, Dr. Madden lives on the 3rd floor.
Right, played by David Warner.
David Warner, fucking R.I.P., man.
Oh my God, I couldn't believe it when he appeared on screen. I was like, God damn,
what
a casting.
I love him so much. And he's been in a bunch of other Lovecraft work as well. There's another flick I want to do, Cast a Deadly Spell with Fred Ward.
Oh, yeah. Familiar with it.
Yeah, and he's the bad guy in that.
Okay.
And he's also in The Evil Clergyman, which was like an unreleased. That was actually supposed to be part. I think it was supposed to be part of the second installment of what the fuck's the movie we did? Rage War. Dungeon Master.
Oh, Dungeon Master.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
Or some
I know what you
anthology.
mean.
It was supposed to be part of another anthology movie.
Got ya.
But it was him, Combs, and Crampton in that as well. Yeah, so we'll talk about that one.
Sure,
at
sure.
a different time. But yeah, he plays Dr. Madden in this.
A prolific actor. I mean, he's in a million things.
Yeah.
I mean, the big one's The Omen, but there's
The
1,000
Omen,
things.
The Island, which is really great. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2.
Oh, yeah, he plays, what's his face?
He plays the doctor, yeah.
Right, yeah. Oh, my God. Love to see
Company
him.
of Wolves.
Company of Wolves, yeah, he's in so many things. But yeah, he's this scientist or doctor that lives on the 3rd floor, and this other woman that lives in the house, I think her name's Lana. She basically was like, yeah, don't ever bother the doctor. He works late into the night. He needs to be undisturbed. That's my only real rule. Don't go on the 3rd floor. Other than that,
You're golden.
yeah, we'll be good. And she's like, okay, why the fuck is it so cold in here?
It's just the way it is. It needs to be cold, so fuck you.
It's way colder on the 3rd floor, mind you, so definitely don't go up there without slippers on. Or just don't.
Bringing back Daniel Licht, because here's his score.
Okay.
When she comes up to the door, it's that end Dexter credits theme.
This is where it is.
We're gonna play it for you.
His final little monologue before he finishes his work for the day.
I guess we'll just recycle that.
Oh my God. Reused 95 times over 3 or 4 series.
13 years later.
Because they had the main series, they had the prequel series, they had the post series, then there's another series coming out in like a month, or it might actually be out by the time.
Sure, but
It's like, holy fuck.
Yeah, but original Dexter, you know. So
That's so funny to me.
So she's in the apartment and she's getting ready and stuff, and you see like outside and there's like a bunch of cigarettes on the ground and like somebody's out there. And then there's like a POV like into the apartment complex, like coming towards her.
Oh God, right.
So she's finishing up in the bathroom. She gets out of the shower and she walks out, and her fucking stepdad comes out of the shadows and grabs her. Played by Gary Graham, Achilles himself.
Oh my!
From Robot Jocks.
I gotta go back down the catalog, man. I'm not catching any of these references.
Yeah, man, good shit. It's all congealing together.
Oh man, I'm due for a Robot Jocks rewatch. That's crazy.
Empire alumni, dude. Yeah.
Well, he's a major piece of shit. This is the reason why she ran away from home. We find out he's abusive.
She's abusive, and who knows what else.
Yeah, they don't go deep into it. That's not the point.
It's inferred.
She runs the fuck out of the bathroom with just a robot, and she instantly, instead of just exiting the building, actually makes the smarter decision and says, fuck, I'm going upstairs.
Well, he runs upstairs, and he like grabs her, and she like smashes her fucking head on the stairs.
Oh, she's bleeding and shit.
You know, he's coming after her, and he's beating the shit out of her. Dude, he gets a fucking couple wallops in there, like big ones.
Well, David Warner hears the commotion and comes out of the room and is like, what the fuck?
He opens the door, and he fucking pulls out a scalpel and just shoves it through Gary's hand, and he's like, oh, and he falls down the stairs.
Right now he's taking the trilogy Anthology of terror treatment. Not the guy from Done with Horror this time.
Yeah, there you go.
Except this time he may have lived, it's implied, and it doesn't matter because he ain't surviving the night.
So they dress her up, they bandage her up and they put her back in bed and she wakes up and there's like she had seen water on the ceiling before the stepdad came in, but I just want to note that for later.
Which has turned into kind of a trope in horror. I feel like I see it all the time. There's something leaking from the apartment above me.
I mean, it's freezing in there. Somebody's got their fucking air conditioning on, it's leaking into my fucking bedroom. So
who the fuck wants that? You just got the rental and there's something leaking right on your bed, basically.
Well, it's a cheap room, who knows. So David Warner takes her into his room, which is ice fucking cold. He's got her wrapped up in a blanket and he bandages her head and he's like, here's some pills, take these pills or whatever.
And then later she's like, I'm not sure about these pills. And Lana's like, doctor's orders, just take them.
Yeah, and she's like, why is it so fucking cold in here? And he's like, I'm afflicted with a rare skin condition.
Right. And he's like, you gotta get out of here. All right, well, thanks for the help. He like slams the door like the Uncle Buck cover or something, like trying to get her to fuck out of there.
He's like, get out of here because you're letting all the cold air out.
Right.
And then he's like sweating like this flesh-colored goo.
It's like formaldehyde. I was like, is this guy dead? What is happening here?
Maybe.
And then she's like kind of in her room again, like she takes the pills against her, best intention. She's like, well, he's trying to help me.
Yeah. And this is the first time we really see Lena's face.
Yes.
And she's played by Millie Perkins, who is the main chick from The Witch Who Came from the Sea.
Another one I haven't seen, man.
Really great flick.
Okay.
Yeah, you should check it out. It's about like abuse and the fallout of that and psychosis and all that kind of stuff. It's really good.
She's very good in this as the person that owns the house, or I guess is running the house. Doesn't own. I guess the doctor owns it, but she's essentially the doctor's assistant.
She's like the caretaker.
Yeah.
Essentially, yeah. And his assistant, yeah.
But she's very more nuanced than I was expecting. At first, she was just kind of this nameless woman, and then they kind of give her enough where I'm like, oh, all right.
Yeah, I like her arc.
Yeah, so, that's what I mean by that.
So Emily's mom is in the bed, and now blood is starting to drip from the ceiling where the water was, and it's like dripping on her face, and she's like, what the fuck?
I think she's like a musician. It's getting all over her fucking like music notes and shit.
It's like dripping on. Well, the water was dripping on her like flute and her music paper.
Fucking disgusting.
So she's like, what the fuck? So she goes upstairs to Madden's door, and she opens the door, and
Doesn't knock.
And Lena and the doc are like extracting spinal fluid from this body's like back,
which happens to be her stepfather, by the way, which she notices instantly. It's so obvious. She's like, oh, she faints.
She fucking passes out, and they put her back in the bed.
And then she's asking David Warner in the morning, was that Frank? Was that my stepdad? Oh, no, you had a bad dream.
Yeah, sorry about that.
I should have never fucking helped this bitch, she's like thinking.
But and then he's changing her bandage or something, and he like accidentally cuts himself on a scalpel, and he's bleeding that fucking flesh-colored goo.
That was very strange. This was one of my famous rewinding parts, but I didn't get spoiled anything this time.
No,
I was like, what the fuck?
It's just to kind of hit it home.
Well, it happens because Lana put something heavy down on a table and he gets startled. I was like, all right, they could have edited that a little closer, but
sure.
It was awkward.
Yeah.
And she's like looking at his finger and he's trying to hide it.
Yeah. And he's like, okay, but party's over, get out. So she needs to get a job because she's got to pay for the rent. So she goes across the street to this restaurant, I think it's Al's restaurant.
Yeah.
And, he's like, I tell you what, I'll give you the job if you can get a tip out of those cops over there. And she's like, okay. She puts on the apron and goes over to take the cops' orders. And on the table is a missing persons photo, and it's her fucking stepdad.
Right, yeah, and I guess this is where she actually is like,
and then
I did see that.
And then she puts it together and goes, oh my fucking God. She runs out of the place. She runs back to David Warner, and she's like, you fucking lied to me. He's like, I did it, he was such a piece of shit, and you don't deserve that, and the world's better without him. And he's like, I don't care about that. I care that you lied to me.
Right, yeah, exactly. That's her big hang up. And unless I'm misremembering this, isn't this a scene here, maybe it's later, where she's working and she mentions, like, she's living with them, and she gets, like, a weird reaction, like, oh, those fucking people, oh, you can't work here.
Well,
Am I misremembering that?
Well, Al says that, because he's like, oh, where are you staying? He's like, oh, across the street with Dr. Madden. He's like, Dr. Madden? I thought he'd be dead by now. He's like, he's got to be 100 years old.
Okay. I asked it that way, because Dunwich Horror does something similar. Yeah. I guess that kind of lines up with HP's work, but people are like, that might not be a good situation, but okay.
Like, all right, he's just an old guy. Yeah. Like, he's still in there? I guess so. All right, cool.
Yeah, he's just an old guy, Joe.
Yeah, just an old guy. Nobody's seen him, though.
He's a horny old guy.
Yeah, of course. They're all horny old men, aren't they?
I mean, I guess I don't blame him on some level, but he should have thought about this a little more.
He confronts her, and he's like, oh, I need my injection. She's like, I had to use your father for my experiments. You don't understand. I need spinal fluid to live and blah, blah, blah.
Is Moreau fucking dialogue.
Yeah,
like trying to
seriously.
explain the madness. This makes sense, please. Or like Elmer or some shit.
Yeah, like it's supposed, like it's sane.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I mean, well, he's supposedly over 100 years old. To him, it is sane, I guess,
Well,
right?
to keep him perpetually alive, and
Yeah.
I guess him trying to experiment and figure out how to beat it all.
Right. His work.
His work. So he goes upstairs, he injects himself in the neck with his fucking goo.
His Regeneron, basically.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah. But he breaks it down for her, and he's like, he has to get into an ice coffin and all this shit. And,
Oh, yeah, they show that.
oh, yeah, she, like, puts ice all over him, he injects himself.
Well,
and he,
that's
like,
because there's like a whole scene where he's like downstairs chit-chatting with her
Yeah.
and not really thinking about how long he's been away from the icebox.
That's where he comes downstairs to confront her
Got
about her father.
Right, that whole scene. And then he's like, oh, he's like struggling up the stairs like
Yeah.
the stepfather at the
Yeah.
end when he's getting blown away.
Yeah.
She's like, okay, I'll help you to the ice bed. Yeah, and she's pouring ice on
Yeah.
him. He's like, oh, Lana's not here. That's why she does it. He's
Yeah.
got to kind of spill the beans. And then Lana comes in like midway. She's helping her and is just like betrayed, like feels like, oh, you're giving my job away.
Well, she's in love with the doctor.
We find out.
Lena is.
Yeah, yeah. She could see the wheels turn. She knows David Warner well enough at this point.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't like what's happening here. Maybe I'll never go to the grocery store again.
So after he kind of comes to and cools down, if you will, he gets out of the ice coffin and he's talking to her and he's basically breaking down for her what the fuck is going on.
Right, yeah.
And he talks about cryo or cryptobiosis or cryobiosis. I think he says cryptobiosis.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is something that he makes it a point to talk about how it's akin to how a sea bear can be dehydrated and rehydrated and come back to life, and there's no degeneration of it and all that kind of stuff, and it essentially can live forever or beat death.
Right, that microism, yeah.
The
sea
difference
bear,
is he's mixing that science with shit from the Necronomicon.
Oh, right. Let's bring it back to the title of the movie. Right,
Yeah.
he's got the book. Yeah.
So he's got the book. So he uses like an alchemical formula with science theories about the sea bear and how it survives and creates this fucking shit.
This cocktail.
This cocktail that keeps you alive. It's like death becomes her, right?
No, literally. Yeah, yeah.
So if anything happens to your body, it'll stay that way. Like
It's
you'll
not gonna
stay,
fix, yeah.
You won't die, but it won't fix itself. And if you go into sunlight, you melt like a fucking gremlin. Or if you don't get the injection.
There's a lot of factors.
There's a lot of factors here.
You need your Zombrex, man.
Oh
You're not gonna survive.
Zombrex. Jesus Christ, I haven't fucking played that in forever.
Dead Rising. You turn into a zombie if you don't get the injection. Yeah.
So it's all pseudoscience bullshit, but it's fun how he explains it all.
No, it makes sense for the movie.
And he basically has like an icy botanical garden, and he like injects this rose that's dead, and it comes to life, and gives it to her, and he goes, "It will forever stay in bloom as long as you keep it out of the sunlight."
Right.
And then they start making bedroom eyes.
That's when they have sex, yeah.
And then he slips her the old fucking ice pop, dude.
He broke it off like Gramps in House 2, man.
Oh, boy.
That son of a bitch, that penis is still inside her when she leaves.
Oh my god, what is that thing shooting, man? That's shooting some fucking diabolical goo coming out of there.
I mean, we're gonna find out it's gonna shoot the disease he has and then leave his body or something and go into her.
That fucking thing is shooting icy hot, dude.
I don't know. That's basically how they explain it at the end. Not to jump the gun on that, but yeah, they fuck, and then that's when Lana comes in and sees them like in bed, and is like, that's when she drops the bags, kind of scene.
Oh my god! But when he's fucking her, and like as he comes, he like looks up, and his neck hole starts like dripping, and it's like, oh yeah, he's shot, dude.
That's a good visual.
Yeah.
The Japanese know what's up. I'm just saying the Japanese director, a lot of these angles he chooses,
100%.
Really well done.
There's like a blowout, and because he's sleeping in his ice coffin after his hot steamy sex, he goes back into his ice coffin, and she's like watching over him, and Lena comes back.
Yeah, that's what it is.
And she's got a knife, and she's like, I love him, and it's obvious he doesn't love me, but he loves you, so you're either gonna die for him because you love him, or you're gonna kill me because I can't live without him, or some shit.
She holds the knife to her neck.
Yeah, and she's like, fuck you, crazy lady, and she runs out.
Emily's mother just is like, I'm not feeling this nonsense, and runs the fuck out.
So she splits, but then like a week later, she goes to the OBGYN and finds out she's fucking pregnant. And then she goes to knocking on the door like, hey, by the way,
something happened. That wasn't just a one-off. You impregnated me.
Yeah, I have your child. So she goes in and she goes up to talk to him, and they're in the process of killing poor Al from across the street.
Oh yeah, they're
the
like
restaurant
butchering
guy.
him.
They're like beating the shit out of him in the ice coffin, trying to kill him. And she's like, oh my God, what are you doing? So they stop it. She stops them both. And then, like, Al gets up. And he's like, oh, thanks for saving me. Oh, my God. And then Lena fucking stabs him in the back and kills his ass.
Well, and the whole point there, Lana's trying to say, like, oh, see? That she doesn't have the stomach to kill for you. She might even say it in this previous scene.
Yeah.
Like, you have to be able to kill for him if you want to love him. And this is where he kind of just like, no.
Well, he's like, no, I can't take it anymore. And he starts knocking all his shit off his desk. And then
he has a temper tantrum.
In the process, he, like, these chemicals mix together and he, like, lights on fire and, like, burns himself and cuts himself off. It, like, explodes or some shit. And he's all fucked up and he's sitting there and he's like, and he's all drippy and gooey and he's like, I love you. And he's like, you don't understand. Like, it had to end this way or whatever he says.
Like, almost like eventually this was going to happen anyway kind of thing.
And he's, like, melting and decaying. And Lena comes back with a shotgun and fucking shoots a hole in Emily's mom.
Right, shoots her in the back. Well, she's pissed.
Shoots her right in the back.
She blames her clearly for everything.
And she falls down. And you think she's dead.
Well, as David Warner, like you just said, is literally melting like a reverse Uncle Frank.
And now fucking David Warner's like, ah, and his fucking face is melting. He's just like ripping his skin off. He's like a fucking skeleton. Yeah, he's just melting into a pile of shit.
It does rip it off,
the
right? The
fucking head falls off and like turns and says like one last thing, and then his fucking eye like sucks in. It's really good.
It looks good, yeah. And then Lana's like, okay, well, now what? And then Emily's mother just stands up, and she's like,
and she goes to shoot her, and she's like, no, wait, I'm pregnant.
Should have led with that one.
And it's like, oh, okay. So it's like, okay, so now you have the disease from the doc. You have the juice.
Right.
The juice is loose inside Emily's mom.
Yeah. A broken off penis, right?
Yeah. Well, whatever that fucking disgusting goo was that came out of him.
The Regeneron cum.
I don't know.
He mixed it himself.
The Freon spurt.
You know what that is actually? It's that shit inside Stretch Armstrong. That's what he was pumping in himself. What is that called? Like the shit you make like fake blood with.
The gel? Oh, yeah. Corn syrup?
Corn syrup coming out of him. I don't know. But yeah, so then we cut back to the reporter getting the story from Emily's mother, like, yeah, so that's what happened.
And he's like, wait a second. So after Madden died, there was 3 more bodies that passed away.
Right. And also, why do you need this massive air conditioner? Well, I mean, I know you said you got the disease, but that still doesn't add up.
And he's like, I got a hunch that you are your mother.
Right, after hearing the story, which I feel like most people watching it may have already had that thought by that point. And first she's like trying to, no. He's like, no, I really think so. And she's like, you know what?
You got me.
Yeah.
I survived the gunshot.
Wow. They also make a point earlier where she has a cut on her head that won't go away, and they're trying to fuck with you with that, but it's not there.
And he's like, fuck, you drugged me.
Oh, the tea she gave her. Like, what an idiot.
He gets the tea again. Like, why would you do it? Because he threatens her in the beginning. He's like, I'm going to do it either way. And that's a surefire way to die, my man.
Yeah, I mean, and granted, I guess he's not assuming that this is a serial killer who's going to, like, give him bad tea, but
So this is the extra creepy part.
Yeah.
Because she's like, you don't understand. I need this spinal fluid. I need to feel his baby kicking inside of me.
Right, she says, for the first couple of years, I felt something occasionally.
Yeah, and maybe one day it'll be born finally. Right. But it doesn't age or die or anything like that, so it can't age. It just stays that one age alive inside of her. And she has to keep taking spinal fluid, and she's like, yeah, I don't do it when I need it. I do it all the time now so I can keep it stocked up.
Right, yeah.
So...
And Lana's now old. She's the mother with the tray. She comes in with the fucking knife.
She's like, okay, it's time for you. Give me your spinal fluid there, Eddie boy. From
It, yeah. He doesn't do too good in either of these.
No, he gets his fucking spinal juice sucked out.
Both times.
Yeah, so that's really fucking creepy and like a chilling, no pun intended, ending.
It is, though. That was the most bone-chilling one. To steal a word you like to kind of come back to. I don't know why I associate. You get what I'm saying.
I've said it before.
It is bone chilling.
It is a word in the English language.
It is. I like attributing words to people that I hear.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying.
Sure.
Yeah. Wow. That one really got me because the first twist I saw coming with the stillborn baby, I was like, oh, that's fucked up.
It's great in a totally different way than the first one is.
Yeah. And like, A+ so far.
So good.
Maybe just an A because it was a little obvious, but it wasn't actually. You know, it's like weird.
It's still satisfying to see it play out.
Yeah. The double whammy is what makes it
for sure.
Also, just what a fucked up situation, man. Getting that shotgun blast to the back, and now you're just like, I think of Elden Ring again. I'll mention it again. Obviously, a lot of the Miyazaki games, the Souls games, influenced from H.P. Lovecraft. But there's literally one of the queens or princess in Elden Ring has the fucking unborn baby inside of her. That's like her character.
Oh, you were saying that.
I think I mentioned on the Brood, maybe. Not the same thing, but it probably came up then. But just kind of funny always to kind of connect those dots. I know I always say connecting the dots. I kind of like a fucking broken record
It's
here.
crazy to see it in the zeitgeist of everything that we enjoy. You know what I mean? How many people? That's why I said at the beginning of the Dunwich, like how many people that we like and enjoy their art are influenced by Lovecraft.
100%. Yeah.
So yeah, back to HP. And he's chilling in there, and he's like, "Oh my god, that was a fucking crazy story that just came out of me that I copied from the Necronomicon."
They turned the air conditioning down. Now the heat kicked on. I feel a little better.
Whew. So he like hides behind the desk, and the monk like looks in the door, and he's like, "Oh, I guess he's not in there," and he closes it.
Yeah, he used his observation knock. He
and
said
I'm like,
something.
"Okie dokie."
I better write this next one quickly.
Yeah, I better do this
ink.
really quick. And then another door opens for one of the last doors of this, like, I don't even know what the fuck it is.
I guess the gates to the old ones.
The gates to the old, there's a portal in this fucking monastery.
Well, the ending, it might make more sense why that's there.
Yeah.
But I do kind of love how he's just kind of like, fuck it, I'm just going to keep writing this shit.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep going. I don't know when I'm going to be able to come back.
So the third and last story is directed by Brian Yuzna, and it's called Whispers, and it's loosely based on The Whisperer in Darkness.
Okay.
Now,
I think I've heard of that one.
Yeah, it's really good.
Okay.
Now,
Is it a good adaptation? With that, before we get into it?
it's a loose adaptation.
Another loose, okay. But that's been good so far.
There are things at the end which I can talk about
that are different.
That are akin to the story, but on the whole, it really doesn't jive.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Always curious to hear.
Sort of, kind of, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That seems to be the theme.
There's
with this
elements
one.
of it, and I like how they kind of mix it with like Chud and some other stuff. So it's kind of cool.
It does feel a little like Chud.
Yeah.
Because this is the one I kind of mentioned earlier where we're now just thrown into like the 80s or 90s. And that's what threw me. The segment works, but that initial shot of this cop car riding down the street with these two officers.
And we're in Philadelphia, too.
Yeah. Oh, God. That's
so we're not.
funny.
So the other two stories took place, I think, one was in Boston and one was in
Arkham, I'm just going to assume.
Somewhere.
Somewhere,
I think,
yeah.
It was some coastal place.
I'm assuming somewhere hot, like California, because that's the air conditioning is so important. But either way. Yeah, Philly. We're heading over to Philly, and we have this this couple, or this cop, these partners are actually...
Paul and Sarah.
Yes. They're couples at work and out of work.
Holy shit, man. They are like in pursuit of a felon.
Right. Oh, God. Speaking of demonic toys, that was also a theme in that.
Oh, yeah. They're in the pursuit of a felon, and they're driving. She's like driving high speed, and they're having this conversation.
This debate.
And she's like, "I'm pregnant." And he's like, "Oh my God, you're upset that we had sex, and like it's a problem." And she's like, "No, it's not. I'm trying to fucking drive this car."
Right. Yeah. And then just they're getting so into the conversation, they completely missed the point where the guy made the turn.
Yeah.
Got out of the car and started running, and they just left the car there. And then because they're arguing, they're looking at each other. Yeah. And she doesn't catch it till she's going way too fast to slow down. She clips this motherfucker and goes flying.
And the car fucking flips on top.
This is like Blues Brothers when they're in the mall, except everyone's injured.
Yeah.
Like the car flips a bunch of times. She's like, "Ah, fuck."
Car flips over, and we see...
Pregnant, by the way.
Yeah, she's pregnant, by the way. These 2 feet come over and grab... It's clearly a homeless dude, and like grabs the cop and pulls him out and like starts dragging him away.
Right. Wearing rubber boots, which is important. I'll just mention that.
Yeah.
And she sees that, and she's, again, the camera work. I don't want to just always go back to
It's cool.
It's so cool with
Yeah,
the inside of the
neat.
cop car and everything.
Yeah. And Sarah's still alive, so she gets out and she's calling for Sam, and she doesn't see him. So she grabs her gun and she follows the fucking blood trail
Down this dark alley.
down this alley into this fucking building, down into like this basement or sub-basement.
This is what I'm talking about. These like Aztec temples or whatever the fuck are down. What is this supposed to... Ancient shit.
It's ancient stuff, and there's... I don't think that they're underneath Philadelphia, but it's a cool thing to think about, like this catacomb area that was built upon...
Right,
you know.
That's the cool part
I guess
of
it would make sense because, you have these clandestine societies that are keeping these eldritch
beings,
gods alive, and the practice thereof of like worshiping them, and so somebody would buy that land, build that building, and still have access to that part of it. You know what I mean?
Especially like those concepts, especially 100 years ago.
Yeah.
Were more common, where there's all those ritualistic sacrifices and writers leaning into the history and kind of spinning it to make it more supernatural than it actually was.
Mm-hmm.
And I say Aztec or Mesoamerican. The point is it's from that era. It's not Aztecs, obviously South America. You get my point.
Yeah,
though.
but it's ancient culture.
Right. Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
So she's pursuing, speaking of demonic toys again, they're kind of pursuing, it's like Judith Gray pursuing the, Lincoln through the toy store, but she's pursuing fucking Don Calfa through this fucking labyrinthine stairwells and nooks and crannies and basements and shit.
Yeah.
And she's following this blood trail, and she comes to an elevator and like shoots the elevator so it can't go all the way down, and then she ends up like going down the stairs. And she runs right into Don Calfa. Do you remember Don Calfa?
Oh yeah, he's the hitman in fucking Weekend at Bernie's.
Not only is he the hitman in Weekend at Bernie's, but he's the guy from Return of the Living Dead.
Is he in
he's
that?
He's the mortician.
Oh, I didn't. Oh my god, I never put that together. That was the same actor. The Nazi guy who doesn't ever admit flat out, but he is a Nazi.
He's got a Luger.
The Hitler youth guy. We gotta do that one, man.
Yeah, it's great. Don Calfa, R.I.P.
Oh my god! Wow, I can't believe I never put that one together.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite movies, and I missed that one. Yeah, he's here. It is kind of crazy to see him because now I'm like not thinking about it as deeply as Weekend at Bernie's. I was like, wow, what a weird movie.
That was
for him
a deep
to do.
cut, dude.
Yeah, no, it was.
I always forget
shit.
that he's the hitman in Weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah, that's one of the funniest. We got to do that one too.
He's so fucking funny.
But what a nice surprise to see him here, and he's just like a homeless guy at first. You think, well. Oh, I won't put the cart before the horse. He's a homeless guy.
Yeah.
And she finds him and is like, where the fuck's my partner? Where the did you see it? Because he's following the blood trail. And this guy's she stumbles into him like, did you see anybody? And he's like, oh, well, there's the butcher down here. Maybe the butcher took him.
The butcher is loose, and he's like a mass murderer in the city that they're also, that we hear rumblings of when they're talking about it earlier in the car.
And I feel like the concept of the butcher is something you hear in fantasy on and off. Even fucking Diablo has an enemy called the Butcher. Just the concept of a butcher could be creepy.
Yeah, but it's like Joe Spinell in Maniac. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's the butcher.
Generic killer. They just have a creepy
killer.
name.
Yeah. Or even like an angel. The same kind of thing.
I just like that extra detail. It's like, oh, it's not just some guy. It's the butcher.
Oh, yeah,
Look the fuck out.
Yeah, you gotta watch out for the butcher. He's down here somewhere. He lives here. I own this building, and he lives in a part of it, but he comes and goes as he pleases. And she's like, what the fuck? She's like, take me down fucking stairs.
Right, yeah. They're in a bill. I forgot about that because she comes from the alleyway into there. Yeah.
So they go down the stairwell, and then they run into Daisy, and Judith Drake plays Daisy, who's his blind wife, but she's not his wife.
Yeah, there's some back and forth with that where he says it's his wife, but then when he leaves the room to get kind of ready to go where they're gonna go, she's like, I'm not his fucking wife. I just met him a week ago.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, he told you that this is his building? What else did he tell you?
And then now you're kind of getting the double talk from him, so you don't know what to trust.
She's being gaslit by both these people.
And she's already like hypertension. She's thinking about the baby situation.
Oh, she's shot out of her fucking mind. And she's wounded.
Super vulnerable.
Daisy, Judith Drake, she is the lady cop who gets blown out the fucking window in Rumpelstiltskin.
I was going to say Rump. Yeah, I was kind of thinking she's from something we did. I'm seeing it as you're saying it.
Yeah.
The Terminator scene, yeah.
Oh my God, it's so good. She's the one, like, playing with Baby John.
I still got to ask Mark Jones about that. Yeah. Was that a Terminator reference? Am I thinking too deeply?
100% it was.
Yeah, Mark should be like, did you think long on that one, Sean?
Yeah. No shit.
Yeah, he knows my name. Wow.
So what's also weird about Daisy is she can sense stuff about Sarah, and he's like, oh, I can smell you. I can smell the blood. Oh, you're pregnant. Oh, your partner Sam.
Yeah, like she knows.
She knows all this shit, and it's like, well, how the fuck would you know that?
And again, like before this cop character can even really like think about it and give an actual like thoughtful reaction. Yeah. Fucking Weekend at Bernie's comes back. He's like, all right, I'm ready.
Yeah. And it,
okay, we gotta go.
She's also like, oh, your partner, he's the father of your baby, isn't he? Sam's the father.
Yeah, like she's psychic.
And she's like, oh, it's okay to be scared, because earlier she says she's scared to have this baby. And she's like, it's okay to be scared. Everything's, it's gonna be fine. I wish I could have a kid, she says.
Again, weird shit's being said, but the woman's not thinking about it because she's so like stressed out.
No.
But it is creepy.
I mean, she's just totally shook, and she's got these people at gunpoint.
Well, then when they start kind of walking her and whatever the fuck this guy's name is, the guy from Return of the Living Dead.
Don Calfa.
That's
his real name.
Well, that's what I'm going to call him, because I'll never remember what he's called. The homeless guy. They're walking, and they're starting to head to where he says he thinks that the butcher might be with her partner.
Yeah.
And this is where she's like, finally gets a moment to kind of collect herself. She's like, she said you're not her husband, and she said this, and he's like, what? No, I'm her husband. What's she talking about?
What are you talking about? Yeah, I think the butcher lives here. And she's like, who's the butcher? What's the butcher? He's like, well, the butcher, he's an alien.
He does say that flat out, yeah.
And she's like, what? And he's like, yeah, he's an alien. Well, he's not an alien, but he works for an alien, I think.
Yeah. And then so like they're at the precipice of where this place is, where this thing lives supposedly. And
Been
he's like,
down here since before the dinosaurs.
oh, God, I kind of love that.
Yeah.
Just like Pennywise and the old ones.
Exactly.
That's the reference.
Yeah. Well, it's not the reference.
Not, but it kind of is. I want you to think
Stephen
that.
King is referencing Lovecraft, and then this is being,
That's why I wore the Stephen King shirt.
Yeah.
That makes sense,
Well,
obviously.
Joe Buchanan.
It's a Stephen King. We're both kind of wearing the Stephen King
I'm
reference.
doing Jeffrey Combs rules. You also, by the way, you can buy the Jeffrey Combs rules shirt from Big Dumb Shirts, and you can get the Joe Buchanan rules from the Movie Dumpster store. Just P.S.
There you go.
Yeah.
For video watchers or audio listeners
Yeah.
that didn't even know they wanted it. But yeah, he sits down for a minute as they're getting close to where the blood is leading to, and he's like, hold on a second, that's kind of fucking messy down there. I gotta put my galoshes on.
Yeah. Oh, and he's lighting the candles. He's like, I always forget which way to go down here if I don't like the candles. And as they're going down, he's showing that there's like carvings and hieroglyphs of like these beings and sacrifices to these beings.
And that's where you get a lot of what I was saying, like the Mesoamerican. I'm saying that word wrong. You know what I mean? Mesoamerican style kind of cave drawings.
Sure.
And
Well, they're
stone
carving
carvings.
too, but you can also say Egyptian, and you can say
Egyptian, yeah.
Yeah.
All that time period that he's usually known for referencing.
Yeah.
You
Mhm.
get what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's creepy because then he starts putting these fucking galoshes on, and she instantly is like, wait a fucking second. Those red shoes look familiar. And it's the same shoes that pulled her partner
And
out.
he's
She's like, what the fuck?
She's like, it's you fuckers. Turns out, and then it's no sooner does she say that, Daisy like comes out and fucking like lights her on fire.
Yeah.
And she goes up in a blaze, and you're like, oh my God. And then they kick her down the fucking hole down there.
They pull Apaches from Dark Souls. They knew what they were doing.
Dude.
Kick his ass down there.
Yeah, so there's a hole in the middle of this chamber, and down the hole it's like all red and gross, and there's like a sacrificial like table or bed thing down there. And she's like, "Oh God, help me! Somebody help me!" She's like, "Sorry, sweetie, there is no God."
Oh God.
Fuck you.
Yeah. And so she's down here just kind of stumbling around. You're like, all right, well, she's fucked. I don't know how you're getting out of this one.
And in these drawings on the wall, or these carvings on the wall, you saw like people's arms and legs getting cut off and shit. And you're like, oh my God, what the fuck is going to happen? She falls down this hole into a literal fucking pile of body parts.
She even goes down like a slide to get to, like a stone slide.
Yeah. So it's just like this it's like the inside of a belly.
Right, yeah.
Like, it looks like something out of fucking Life Force or Salamander, right? Like, or like Contra. Like, you're in the belly of this fucking beast.
Of the beast, literally.
Yeah, or like even Star Wars when they're in that fucking meteorite worm.
Oh, yeah, in the second one.
Yeah, with the Minox.
Right, yeah. And, so she's walking around. Again, I don't know how the fuck she's getting out of this one. Literally, the only people that could help her are actually the ones that led her to her doom. So unless you find like an escape rope from Pokemon that lets you leave the building, like I don't know what the plan is. You don't really have much to work with. You're injured. You don't have a fucking flashlight.
Yeah. These fucking like bat ghoulies start like flying around her head. So she pulls out the gun and she starts shooting, and she pops 3 fucking holes in the wall.
Well, speaking of Monster Squad, the t-shirts.
Oh, yeah.
She learned that from Monster Squad. She saw Dracula get shot out of the air.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try that.
Well, she shoots this fucking wall, and their holes are bleeding.
Yeah.
Just like that Tales from the Dark Side episode.
I was thinking about that with the hotel that was alive.
Yeah, the dragon.
Throwing the food down the chute.
Yeah. It's the same kind of shit. That's what it reminds me of.
It could be the same building in the MDU.
It could be. It's this is the basement of that building.
Yeah, when that guy got disposed of, he landed down there.
Dude, that fucking totally makes sense. It's canon.
Does, yeah.
It's canon.
There you go.
So she's down there and she's freaking out, and then all of a sudden, Paul starts calling out to her, and he's like, "Sarah, help me, Sarah!" And she's like, "Oh my God, Paul!" Blah blah. And he's like sitting there like this, and you're like, "Holy shit!" He fucking gets up, and his whole brain is fucking burrowed out from his body,
It's
from
like
his skull.
Fucking mind flayer from Dungeons and Dragons got him.
This body gets up and starts like running around and fucking trying to like grab her and shake her, and she's like kicking him off, and she finally like shoots him and pushes him off, and he falls down and like his head like smacks the ground, and this fucking monster like pushes its way out of his body, and it's got these wings. Right now, it looks like a cross between the things from the Abyss and the Bat Ghoulie from Ghoulies.
Right, which you already referenced. Yeah. That's why we keep seeing this creature.
But it's like sits up and in its belly is the guy's brain and his eyeballs, and he's like, and there's this like little vagina on its chest, and it's like talking, and it's like, Sarah, it's me, Paul, I'm inside, you gotta help me. And I'm like, oh, this is fucking whacked.
Yeah, I mean, how do you even react to
Dude,
that?
it's so good.
If your senses are a little better, you might say, fuck, okay, well, let me blow it away so he doesn't suffer, but you're just so like,
where the fuck am I? What the fuck is happening?
It's easy for me to say that, but in that situation, I don't know how you even would react other than how she does.
Now, I want to talk about Whisper in Darkness real quick.
Okay.
So in that story, there are these beings that are in the woods, and they inhabit this mountain that this guy, it's like in Vermont. It's in Brattleboro, I think, or something like that. And these things take this guy's skin. The punchline of that story is they take this guy's skin and like put the skin
like a mimic situation
on them,
Yeah.
and they use his brain to speak.
That's kind of
and
cool.
use his voice, and it talks like this,
like a Voldemort, yeah.
Kinda, but like it's really neat. So the whole point of that then there is to like get humans and like take their brains out and put them in these canisters, because that's the only way they can travel across the cosmos back to their home planet.
Oh, I think I remember that. I maybe didn't read the story, but that sounds so familiar.
I talked about it on the Abe Vigoda episode of Tales from the Dark Side, where his A Choice of Dreams when they take his brain out. That's one of my favorite stories, Whisperer in Darkness.
That's why it sounds familiar.
And the Lovecraft Association did a movie with that too.
Okay.
So that's cool. Paul's body's fucking convulsing. It looks like Larry the Larva fucking got him. And this bat thing's like moving its wings and shit, and it attacks Sarah. As this thing's like talking through this little vagina mouth, Daisy comes in and she opens her fucking mouth, and this saw blade comes out.
Oh, like a beetle or
and
something.
And like cuts her fucking arm off. It's crazy.
Right, yeah, and then like you realize now that she took the glasses off, like it just slits like her not her husband.
Oh
but
yeah,
she's
like,
guy
hey,
she's with.
She's got no fucking eyes. She's
so
got
creepy.
This thing coming out of her mouth. It cuts this woman's arm off. And then she immediately wakes up in like this hospital.
Well, she thinks, oh God, it was just a dream.
She's
Thank
like,
God.
Shit. And she's under these covers. She's like, oh my God. And Don Calfa walks in, and he's the doctor. And he's like, all right, calm down. Everything's going to be all right.
And Daisy walks in, but now she actually has eyes. And she's like, oh, Ma. And I'm like, what?
She's like, Mom, come in here. And
it's this Wizard of Oz?
And she's like, honey, it's okay. Everything's going to be just fine. You know, they even saved the baby. You're going to be fine. And she's like, the baby? She's like, well, yeah, it survived. Everything's good.
This is an Applegate situation.
Oh, my God, dude.
But in the worst, most horrific way possible.
And she's like, oh, you've been in a coma for 7 days.
Yeah.
And basically, you know.
You almost buy it for a second, right?
Yeah, and Sarah's like, well, it's my body, my choice kind of thing. Like, I don't want to keep it. And she's like, well, you gotta. You can't just get rid of it. And
this isn't the Fly, Joe.
And it's like, what? We'll just keep it right here. And she pulls the fucking glass off. No fucking eyes. Rips her shirt open. The fucking baby is in her stomach, like those bat things.
Oh God, it's like, almost like Death Stranding.
Oh my
with
God,
this shit.
it is fucking creepy as hell. The sheet comes off. Her fucking arm is gone. Don Calfa's laughing.
Oh, her legs are cut off. Also,
yeah, she's a fucking double amputee.
Oh God, it's like Tusk when he's in the wheelchair and he doesn't really his legs are cut off, and the guy pulls the fucking blanket off and he's like, ah!
Yeah. It's also great too because she's like, well, Paul's here too. He's fine. He's brain dead, but he's okay from the crash. He's right next to you. They pull the curtain off. Paul's on the fucking bed with no brain and his body's all fucked up.
Yeah, they're working on him.
Dude, it is creepy as fuck.
Yeah, it is shocking beyond belief. And then you just think, all right, well, she's out of the dream, right? Oh no, this is still just happening to her and she's trying to cope.
Nope, she's just she's still in the belly of the beast. And now all of these things are around her and they're like sticking their own mouths into like the body parts, drinking the bone marrow, and they're like, yeah, they got a thing for that bone marrow.
Right, it's like a hotel hell kind of joke with the bad guys winning at the end.
Oh yeah. So then she goes to cut her other arm off, and she does, and now she's just laying on this like sacrificial stone tablet with no arms and full paraplegic now, or what?
Yeah.
Quadriplegic. And she just fucking is like staring off into space, and then she starts cackling because she has fully gone insane.
Oh, which is a staple of anything in this vein when you hit insanity, like in The Mouth of Madness. Sam Neill watching himself, he's just laughing.
It's so good. It might not be the best story of this.
I liked it a lot,
but it's really good. I think, especially it captures the whole tone of a Lovecraft story.
Yeah. Gun to your head, which one is your favorite if you had to pick out of those? Unless you like the wraparound more, but I'm going to say out of those three, what do you think?
I think it's Whispers.
You just said that, but I was about to say it might be Whispers for me too.
I think it's Whispers. I really like that original story a lot, and
you have that baggage.
But I also love little rubber monsters too. So it's kind of like, and I love the idea of it being like hidden under this fucking building in Philadelphia. Like what? Okay, like it's just this normal apartment building from outside, but then you go deeper and it's like this whole fucking cavernous, like ancient temple, and then in the core of it is this fucking race of beings that drink bone marrow and like have brains in their stomachs.
Aliens, I guess.
Yeah, it's crazy. So they could speak or some shit.
Just to get more victims down there,
it's
right?
Great. Yeah,
it's fucking incredible.
It's really good.
I almost want to compare it to Creepshow, even though I still think Creepshow still is better in some spots. But this is like just each one of these is so good.
Different kind of movie.
No, it is, but it's just out of all the anthologies that we've covered so far, there's always one I'm like, that didn't really nail it.
Yeah,
this one I feel like they all nail it. Maybe the wraparound's a little silly, but
I think all the stories are solid.
Yeah, very good.
Mm-hmm. But we cut back to HP one more time.
Yes,
and the monk sneaks up on him and he grabs him.
Whoa! The monk sneaks up on him. He's watching this happen. Can't get in the room because he dropped the key.
And he's like, "Where's the key? What are you doing? You don't know what you've done." And he's like, "Oh, I dropped the key in the hole." He's like, "You what?"
Yeah. While this thing's bubbling and now the tentacles are coming out of the ground.
The tentacles grab him and all this green shit goes over him, and it's creepy because it's like falling upwards, like the green shit on him.
And I'm only stopping you saying he comes behind him because this guy goes full T2, T1000 through the bars.
Dude, he I don't know what. He squishes his fucking face through it.
And I'm like, okay, well, there's something weird happening. And, HP sees this and is like, uh-oh.
And he's like, "You fool, you'd think you could read the Necronomicon and not pay the price."
Well, yeah. He is gonna not. All that's gonna work out for him, apparently.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, because this guy's face gets fucking ripped off by HP.
Well, HP stabs this fucking monster in the eye with his fucking cane sword, his King Willie sword.
We can't forget that. That was incredible. There's blood and guts hit him.
It just shoots all over the place. And then he grabs this monk by the face and pulls his face back.
King Kong style.
Oh man, it's great.
And it's like an alien or something.
But he's not dead.
No, he's like a gray entity of some kind, almost like ant teeth and fangs.
And he starts to grab HP, and now the last door has opened, and this cosmic fucking creature is coming out, and it's like this giant hand with a mouth in the palm and all this shit. And he's like, "Nope, not me, motherfucker!" And he switches last minute with the fucking the monk, and the monk gets grabbed by the head, and his fucking head gets ripped off.
Yes. I do love though how the whole time before the monk finally reveals what it is, or whatever, gray alien of some kind, it's like, no, the book, put it back, no, but then it just gets killed, and then HP mysteriously leaves. I got out of here. Woo!
Well, it takes the body, and then all the doors close again. Yeah. So then he picks up the book and he's like, okie dokie.
Sticks it under his shirt.
Sticks it under his coat. He's like, "Oh, I'll be leaving now."
I love when he goes back out there. He's covered in green and red and everything, and Brian Yuzna's in there I waited for you like you said. Doesn't comment on how he just looks like shit compared to when he dropped them off an hour ago.
Brian Yuzna's like, "Yeah, hop in. It's time to go."
He's clutching this thing for his life. He's like, "Oh, yes,
I believe," what does he say? "You might say it found me."
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna write all my stories. Here we go.
The other ones that weren't the three I just wrote in the mausoleum, or the monastery, whatever the fuck. The place, the library.
It's so fucking good, man. Yeah. So Necronomicon, H.P. Lovecraft's Necronomicon Book of the Dead. Where are we putting it?
This is on the shelf. I mean, I've been basically saying it the whole fucking time. Again, Creepshow still might be king for me on anthologies, but this is pretty close. Little tiny things here and there I didn't like, and I even mentioned them in the episode, but a lot of this, 90% of it fucking hits it on the head every time.
100%.
And this has just come from someone that just likes horror and likes supernatural shit and fantasy. And again, I don't want to just keep saying it. I need to read more H.P. Lovecraft. I've been saying it for years.
Well, I know what I'm getting you for your birthday.
Well, I had the book, and then I moved twice, and then the book disappeared. Well, I think it went into the other dimension. Now it's hiding from me.
You're settled in once again. I'm going to go in that fucking vault and grab one for you.
Oh, God, just look out for those symbols. Make sure the doors don't start closing.
Well, it's up to you. You're going to be reading it.
I love all the different directing styles in this. They don't clash. They all kind of work together, but they each have something unique. You're kind of coming at it, each story from a slightly different angle, but they all have the right flavor. And again, one of my nitpicks is just that the time thing kind of screwed me up, that each one was in a different time period. But again, if you know anything about the Necronomicon, it's one of those things where it exists forever and it always has existed kind of thing. So, it works. Don't overthink it like I did. Really well done. All the actors are great in this. If anything, I wish there was more. That's my biggest complaint. Not that I necessarily need a fourth story. Maybe that would have been too much.
That's a good thing, though.
Yeah,
that it left you being like, man, that was great. I want more of that.
I wish there was some more. Like, sequels can't always be good. Maybe it would have stunk. But it's a shame we didn't get that U.S. release to really boost this movie and maybe get that Blu-ray that's available outside of Germany.
Yeah, I mean, but again, it's region free, and it's definitely grab it.
It's just a shame that had to happen, and that happens a lot of times on the movies we cover. It's just when it comes up and it's something this good, you're like, what the fuck?
I agree.
Extra frustrating.
And I'm surprised sometimes with movies like this, we get like bullshit that has somehow survived and gets like a fucking 4K transfer, and it's not that great. And you're like, well, how come this fucking movie isn't on Blu-ray yet?
And I know we always say like every movie is subjective, and if you like it, great, or if we don't like it. But it still is one of those things. It's like, yeah, I know every movie is somebody's favorite movie, but yeah, you're right. When those weird ones, you're like, all right, this has been out like 6 times already. Can we get fucking Necronomicon once?
Or even movies that are like, you know, $30, $40 that aren't even that fucking great. You know what I mean? It's cool that they're saved and archived, but you know, they're not all good.
Yeah.
You know? Well, I'll be the first one to say that. And I love my shitty movie, or B movies rather.
And just to put a pin on that tangent, and then I'll hand it over to you. Yeah. But we now have like almost like a similar problem today that we've talked about on and off with streaming, where it's like some of these movies that are only on streaming, or even ones like Flowers of the Killer Moon just aren't coming out because the studios are like, well, we're just gonna hold on to this forever, like the Hellraiser remake or Barbarian. Right. It never came out, man. It's frustrating. Prey finally made it. It made enough money, like, fuck, we got to put this out.
Yeah.
Didn't make it to theaters, but it's frustrating to this day that still happens. And physical media obviously is way more of a niche thing in today's day and age, but it's just funny that we're still talking about this was happening in the 90s. It's happening today. Yeah. Somebody get your fucking act together. Get this movie on Blu-ray.
Less often, though, in the 90s for sure.
Or give it the 4K treatment, I guess. Get it to the States. I want to watch this. I'll just buy the fucking German one regardless.
It's in the States, but it's not a U.S. release.
I get
you. Like, I would like to see a full-fledged, like, special edition of this.
Right. Like Godzilla -1, I'll say, is another one where I'm like, it did finally come out, but you could have got that Japanese copy, which is probably better quality for like 6 months.
I did. I can't read anything in it, but I got the Japanese like deluxe edition. Yeah, man, this is totally on the shelf. It has been on the shelf for years. This is one of those ones that, you know, it was kind of like that. It was cool because it was only on tape for like the longest time, and it was like you didn't watch it unless you had the tape, or the rip, you know.
Yeah, Chris had it. Chris Barr had it,
and like a lot of other movies that are in the dungeon, it's exclusively on tape unless you got the German Blue. Again, like I just said, or I said earlier, like it's not US released on disc.
Yeah.
So you need to go get that German one, which I highly recommend. Again, I'm going to keep on saying it because you should fucking grab it because it looks fantastic. The transfer's great, and it's the way to watch it for sure. This is the more cozy one, but that is the way to fucking watch it in a real way, the way it was intended.
You have the option again. You got to get that import. I don't want to just beat it to death.
Well, because they couldn't get theatrical release, so it's nice to see it in widescreen in the way it was presented, in the way that it was intended. Right? I fucking love this movie. I have loved this movie, and I mentioned earlier that like this is a perfect example of how you can take a Lovecraft story and stories plural and modernize them enough where they work right and take liberties in certain spots that make sense. I mean, again, you have Brian Yuzna. It's Yuzna, right? Yeah.
Yuzna.
You know, that's the guy behind the Reanimator series and From Beyond. So like he knows what he's doing in handling the content. And adaptations and all that kind of stuff, even though they're not all written by him, but he produced it all. So he obviously had a say in some of it, if not all of it. And it's just a really well put together anthology. And I think more people need to fucking see this. If you haven't, do it. do it right now. Go watch H.P. Lovecraft's Necronomicon Book of the Dead. You can watch it on Internet Archive right now, or you can order that German Blu-ray. And let us know what you think about Necronomicon Book of the Dead, and have you seen this before, or if you haven't. It's one of those Lovecraft movies that does not get enough attention, that really needs it, in my opinion, because there's a lot of bad Lovecraft movies. There's a lot of bad ones.
We talked about at least one in the last episode, that remake of Dunwich Horror.
There's a lot of, like, when you go outside of the scope of Gordon's Lovecraft movies, things get real fucking dicey. But thankfully, this is not one of them. It's a great, and on top of that, it's a fucking anthology. I mean, you can't ask more than that. And I think a lot of Lovecraft stuff could benefit from being anthology based, just like this. So I fucking love it. It's one of my faves. Adaptations, loose adaptations, interpretations, if you will.
Again, that just kind of works sometimes. Sometimes you're like, fuck, they changed it, but this one it worked.
Yeah, it worked. So yeah, with that being said, if you want some more Movie Dumpster content, you can head over to patreon.com/Movie Dumpster. You can get an ad-free audio version of the show for as little as $2 a month. We also have some great stuff at the $5 and $10 tiers. We also have a YouTube membership, which is kind of like Patreon Lite. You don't get the physical stuff from the Patreon, but you can get stuff like commentary tracks and mini-sodes and junk mails that we do. So figure out which one you want to support if you do want to do that, and help support your favorite show.
And if you're watching here on YouTube, please like the video and share it with your friends. Helps get the word out on the video. And subscribe if you're not already. And if you're listening on your favorite podcast app, leave us that 5 stars and a thumbs up and a review if you got the time. Even a sentence helps. We want to get more people in here in this dumpster community and get more people listening and watching the show. We really do appreciate it.
Yep, those reviews help more than anything, so we'd really appreciate it if you can leave it. Like that video, share that YouTube video, leave that 5-star review, leave the review, please. Tell your friends and share the show. That helps more than anything. You don't have to buy anything. It doesn't cost a fucking dime. That is what we'd like you to do the most of, right? But if you do want to buy anything from us, we have a website, moviedumpsterpodcast.com. We have a store there where you can buy hats, beach towels, shirts, stickers, all kinds of good stuff. We also have a calendar there so you can find out what the Dumpster Boys are up to and where we are going to be. From July 11th to the 13th, we're going to be at VHS Fest 9. They got an awesome lineup this year, including special guest Frank Henenlotter, which is amazing. And that, of course, is going to be at the mighty Mahoning Drive-In Theater in Lehighton, PA. So grab your tickets now. So yeah, check it out at moviedumpsterpodcast.com.
And we'll catch you on the next episode of Summer of Lovecraft.
So that's it. That's Necronomicon, Book of the Dead from 1993, directed by Christophe Gans, Shusuke Kaneko, and Brian Yuzna. I'm Joe Lascola.
And I'm Sean O'Rourke.
Thanks for visiting the dumpster.